Welcome to Now You're Playing with Podcast, episode 19. Some of my favorite episodes that we do here on the podcast are the ones where we really get to dive in and do something super nerdy. And these next two episodes are definitely in that same vein. So there's been lots of things I've seen recently where people are trying to play through all of the original Nintendo games, all the original Super Nintendo games. And what we're actually going to do is we're going to play through all of the original Odyssey 2 games. So it turns out that Chris has a complete collection of all the Odyssey 2 games. And as we had some discussions and he was poking around on YouTube, he kind of found that there's really not a lot of Odyssey 2 videos. There's not a lot of, certainly not a lot of Odyssey 2, captures and things like that. It's mostly just either, people just talking about the games or talking about the system, maybe unboxing some of the board games that they released, or it's a bunch of kids who are just, griping about the fact that it's worse graphics than the Atari, which is really sad because there was some really cool stuff on the Odyssey 2. And I know definitely for myself and probably for a lot of people, for us 80s kids, we didn't really see the Odyssey too much when we were growing up. It came out in the 70s, and because it didn't compete with the Atari that hard, for a lot of people, it just, either didn't exist or, just, kind of existed, in talk. But we actually took the time, we went through, and we put out every single game in the order of its, its manufacturer code or its release name. And we played through all of them in sequence. We're hoping that this is the sequence they were developed in. And so what we're going to do is we're going to, for now, just put the audio up, and we're going to recap kind of our experiences and try to describe all the games that we're playing through. We captured some video of all the games, and we're going to cut that together with this episode and try to put up a complete, our first video kind of episode and be able to show all of the gameplay we captured and really be able to kind of fill in what we're describing, and you can see some of the stuff as it's going on. So it's going to be really cool. It'll be a lot of fun. If you have no idea what the Odyssey 2 is, definitely give this a listen because it's going to be super cool, and hope you enjoy it.
Now you're playing with podcast.
All right, and we are starting with the Odyssey 2 retrospective. So this is Tatton. With me here today, we've got Steve and
Hello.
Chris.
Hey, how you guys?
How you guys? Are you Australian today?
Yeah, it's the Odyssey 2, man. It's melt my brain.
Odyssey 2, the official console of Now You're Playing with Podcast, right?
Hopefully,
It's gotta be.
Killer Bees.
Killer Bees, best game.
So what we did is we played almost every game that was officially released. There's two that we'll talk about that haven't been played yet. And we're going to be watching some of our footage and reminiscing over all the games that we played.
We played over a course of 2 nights, every single game. I own the entire collection, plus I own the multi-cart, which we'll put up the link to. I didn't do the research. I think all of the Odyssey 2 games are public domain. Don't quote me on that just yet. We'll rectify that before we publish. But there is a multi-cart available for $40. Really cheap. Awesome deal.
Custom built when you order it.
The drawback is they're dip switches to change all the games, and they're effing tiny. So I got a finger workout with my pinky because I couldn't use my fat regular fingers to switch the games in and out.
Well, and there's 8 dip switches on it? 12? There's a bunch, aren't there?
12
10.
maybe? 10?
Was it 10?
10, 11. It's a
It was
lot.
3 sets of 4, wasn't it?
No, it's like a set of 4, then a set of 3, then a set of 3, then a set. I don't.
You can, and the multi-cart has more than twice as many games on it. It has homebrews and experimental
the European
games,
versions, the
tech demos,
the enhanced versions for the video pack. We didn't get into the demos and the homebrews and the tech demos stuff. We did play the Imagic games, iMagic. I never did get a clarification of which version that is, which were released in America. And we played the 5 Parker Brothers games, which are games you can find on other systems like Qbert and Tootin and Frogger. But we'll get to those at the very, very end. So let's start off with the...
Well, and one more thing to note real quick. As we played through these, we also played through these in the order of their release. So
Yes.
we went from the earliest games
as
to
far
the
as we
latest
can tell,
games.
yeah.
the part number. That
Yeah.
doesn't necessarily mean it was a release date, but...
It's you could see some trends though. So
Yes.
I would go with that. Unofficially.
And since Tatton has the computer list, I'll let him introduce the first title.
All right. So The very first one we have here is Speedway. And it's a card that has Speedway, Spin Out, and Cryptologic. But we're going to start with reminiscing about Speedway.
Yeah, this is the pack-in title, by the way. This is the part number. What's the part number?
9400.
9400.
100.
All right,
So
let's
started out pretty good with this game.
These early titles, like we said in the launch podcast a few months ago, basically this is the Odyssey versions of games you can already get on Atari or in television. So Odyssey came out in 78, so this is before Intellivision, but the Atari had already been out. So this is basically, Speedway is the same version of Street Racer, I think, for the Atari 2600.
Yeah, it seems similar to it.
But we'll play it here. And hit my little scan button here.
So we're going to say penis car a lot.
Yeah.
Or maybe I'll just say it once.
We'll just go to the gutter here.
So it's it looks actually more like a lantern to me, like a Japanese, like a pagoda, maybe.
Yeah.
Anyway, so you're just you're avoiding cars.
It's a penis car,
right? Okay. And the opposing cars are running left, like bouncing off the walls, and you just don't want to wreck into it. And you have 2 minutes to get the most points possible, and there's 2 skill levels.
It's pretty fun.
It controls well. It's got a nice purple background with lavender. With lavender
background
lines.
with like cerulean lines.
Very, very colorful, because in the 70s you had to prove that your system was color and not black and white. So, and actually on this multi-cart they had a hack of this game which was black and white, which I think is kind of nifty.
Yeah, it makes it look like Night Driver.
Yeah, but not first person.
Right.
So all the games, we see that the games that are copies, everything's a lot more square. All the pixels are square on this rather than like rectangles.
Yes, very.
Rather than
you
like
could
flat
tell they didn't
rectangles.
hire an artist for this. This was, the engineer and programmers just put up this themselves.
And then we also see, we're going to see throughout these games the same letters and numbers and the same symbols used as all sorts of different freaking things.
There were built-in
gets
characters into the Odyssey 2, which made programming easier. You didn't have to program the whole character graphic into the game and save space.
Which was funny, because as we as Chris had hit a dip switch or something like that, or the multi-cart kind of flaked out, like all of a sudden it'd be like a word, and then like a Killer Beast Bear would be just like right in the middle of it for no reason.
You see that sometimes. You see that on Nintendo. I mean, I'm sure any of these systems, but we don't really see glitches that much on. Well, I shouldn't say that, but anyway, like on Nintendo carts, you see like the letters and numbers built in, and some of the different symbols when the game's not working. So
I have an Intellivision 3 that always displays a $sign at the bottom of the screen on every game.
That's awesome.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's weird.
So what's the second one here?
This one's
Spin Out.
Spin Out. Now, Spin Out is basically Indy 500. Again, we've got the purple lavender background and the cerulean track.
And this one's good because it's our first 2-player game.
This is a versus game.
This one was even better, I think. This one was very fun.
This played well. Like, the joysticks are digital, but they've got a lot of springy throw to them. So for a driving game, although it's not actually analog, it is kind of... and it's also a quick 5-lap or 3-lap game. Here.
Yeah, we don't know how to play already. But so this is one that we immediately had some competition going. Yeah. And some excitement in the room.
I forget who wins all these races, but we're just watching each other go around and around and around. And I think, here this is the second variation with like a little chicane part in the upper part of the track, and neither of us could really navigate it very well.
We suck, It's pretty funny when you
forget,
crash.
With this one, did you have to like point the car in the direction with the joystick instead of like naturally steering left and right? So if you're at the top and want to make a left turn, you actually just push down instead of left. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of odd, but I guess it does make more sense if you're a video game novice.
Well, and the other thing too is when you hit the diagonals on it, like when you're in the straight, up, down, left, and right prime, your car is one shape, but when you hit a diagonal, because the way it has to draw it, it actually like elongates the car, so it makes you like hit the wall a little bit quicker.
I didn't notice that. But that does add some strategy to the diagonal. You don't just go up, down, left, right. So I appreciated that.
Crap. Okay. I hit stop button instead of a...
That's okay.
Really, PS3? You hit stop button.
It all goes all the way back. Yep.
Oh, my Lord.
So how are...
Next generation DVD watching.
Are you going to post these on so people watch them? Or?
Yeah, I think we're going to... This is going to be a video podcast, by the way. We're going to we're not videotaping ourselves, but we'll put up some gameplay footage, and if we can get this podcast.
Because a lot of these games are not on. Like, it would be pretty easy if this was like an Atari one. You could just watch because all the games are on YouTube. But we found a lot of these games are not on YouTube.
So the third game of this pack was Cryptologic, which basically is a numerical version of. Oh yeah, it's
so one person writes a word and the other person doesn't look, and then it scrambles the word and the other person types it, and that's it. I think that's it. There doesn't seem to be anything more to it. There's no scoring.
This uses the keyboard, so the keyboard is the key to greater challenge, as the commercials say. And Steve tried to trick me with Nintendo, and it said Dion Enton, and I got Nintendo on the first try.
Oh, there's a point. There's some points or something.
So yeah, that's. But I mean, you have to think. Back in 1978, nobody had computers in their homes,
right?
So this is something kind of cool to do with a keyboard.
Also, I mean, the jump went from Pong machines to this. So this is one of those first ones where you actually get recognizable things like a car and stuff like that to play.
Right. But really, it's a nice little pack-in, really, honestly. I mean, I wouldn't say it's better than Combat, but it's definitely better than Poker and Blackjack on the television.
I think the only way I would give it maybe better than Combat is there's a little bit more variety on this than there is in Combat, because Combat was the same concept in with just different levels or some basic variations. Like
it does give a bit more value.
Tanks and planes.
Yeah,
but
a lot of these Odyssey games don't have. They weren't big on the game variations. There's 4 skill levels in each game or something. It's not. Atari was really good with really changing it up on every cartridge.
That reminds me of another trend we'll see is we never could figure out how to start. We had to actually get the manual out for every single game. Well, a lot of the games, so we weren't using the actual carts. They tell you how to start the game on the cart, but
so it's just the multi-cart.
It just seems bizarre to me that every game has a different way because there's a keyboard. They use different, one you press enter, one you press number one you press letter A. It's just
right.
It got old.
There was a really good website, Odyssey 2 homepage. Unfortunately, they had a lot of information on the games, but they didn't have scans or text files of the manuals like Atari Age does.
But don't they have the text of all the manuals?
I didn't see it.
There is a site that does. I don't know it offhand now.
What do we got here next?
Next one is Blackjack.
Oh, baby.
So this... You're going to hear a lot of negative from us, but I think we still like this.
Lots of gambling.
I think we still like the system pretty well, right?
Yeah, we're not, But this is completely text version of Blackjack. The cards, I don't even think...
have the suits. No, they do have the suits because the suits are built in, I think. Oh, no.
It's just colors and symbols. It's just 5K, 9, and they're not even color.
And I do have to say, a lot of these games were unplayable to me because of the color palette with my color blindness. So there's a lot of these that I was just completely dead in the water on, which is frustrating.
But Blackjack was a staple of early
but this one doesn't matter because you don't need to know. You're just saying in general there were a lot.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's a good example. Like, you guys talk about different colors. I'm like, oh,
you don't see it.
Almost the same.
Yeah.
What we got here? What was Blackjack? Was fit 9401?
Yeah, Blackjack was 9401. The other thing too is there's really, I mean, when it's text based, we really mean that. Like the card is just a white block with either just a number for the face,
no suits,
or number.
No color.
No suits, no color. There's no dealer image.
No king, no fancy ace.
The television Blackjack wins by a landslide.
Yeah, no, definitely. All right, so next one is 9402 Football.
Oh, this was a. The field was green at least.
We played this for a while, but I'm not remembering it.
So it's 5 on 5.
This was kind of fun, actually.
And
okay.
So let's see. Is this actually 100 yards? So we got 10, 20, 30. What was the? Was this?
No,
Was the far end the end zone or not?
Even if it isn't, there's only 9
5,
total.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Okay.
But what would be the 50? I don't see a middle.
No. So this had you could run with it or pass it, so that was pretty advanced.
Because you would need 11 lines for 100 because you have the 2 goal lines.
Right, exactly.
So
well, you advance and then you start where you stopped. So
there's no first downs in this game. It's 4 downs to get all the way across the field. Let's watch a little footage. So it's 5 on 5. So yellow team has the ball, and the quarterback gets 7 yards, but it's second down at about 1/3 field.
And you can't do a running play without running the quarterback.
Right.
You are
There's
running.
no running back.
or
There's
you're
only like
passing.
one receiver.
And
And he
you
just
can-
tripped over his own line.
Yeah,
on
you
that
can
play.
bump into your own people
yeah.
too.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So we got third down here. Third down in the entire field to go. Was there a playbook in the instructions? I think had a miniature playbook.
It did nothing to really indicate. I could never tell who was getting the ball.
Right.
Like even if you blinked, if your team blinks when you're getting the ball, that would help. But
Old sports games, if there's any complication at all, and you ran out of bounds.
it took us a long time to get one touchdown. I'm
Yeah,
pretty sure.
if there's any complication at all in the gameplay, it's really not worth playing these days. I think the pinnacle of sports games is the NES days when they had that nice arcade feel and enough of the actual realism to keep it fun. Ooh, and then blue team has the ball on near the goal line and threw it out of
Throws it
bounds.
away.
And then the quarterback tries to sneak. He's back. Oh, interception!
That was our first interception. Yeah,
Yeah, you can just hear the crowd roar here.
that's actually pretty good.
But the quarterback just threw the ball all the way across the field.
So whenever you throw the ball, if nobody catches it, it goes all
like
the way to the end.
It's like a pong ball. Mm-hmm. Oh, that was a good completion there.
Yeah.
The third down. Got a lot of way to go.
Come on, yellow.
yeah. Oh,
no,
interception.
interception. Okay.
The graphics for this are actually pretty good. I mean, considering
it's that Odyssey 2-man look, although the quarterback has like a robot head instead of a man head.
Oh, and actually, I was incorrect. This is the first game with moving sprites. It was like 10 games later that I thought we had the first game because the legs actually move on this one.
Yeah.
it's interesting you say that because I always thought that Pitfall was the first game to feature a running person.
I meant on the system.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, I don't.
But this.
Oh, but this would be
Pitfall.
before. Yeah,
And television had the Running Man too. So, but Atari didn't have a lot of running sprites like animated legs. It was a lot of squares and other things. But let's fast forward here until somebody finally scores. Here we go. Is this it? Was this it? First down? Second down? We're like on the 20-yard line in the Heinz red zone. Touchdown!
Yeah,
Touchdown,
No.
yellow team!
Yes.
Wait! Oh, no,
No.
third down, like on the inch line.
Well, the interesting thing is too is if you're the opposing
go.
team
If,
and your back is to the
You didn't have to kick the extra point, by the way.
no, so if you're the opposing team and your back is to the ball, then you won't catch the interception. But your team players, their back can be to the wall. Their back can be to the ball, and if they get it, if they touch it, they'll catch it because that one went like right through the blue team and like right to the person catching it, like right at the end.
did you notice that the down number it followed you around to this line of
Oh,
scrimmage?
I didn't notice that.
Yeah,
That's
noticed that
cool.
right at the end. So.
But still, it's on par with trash can football for the Atari 2600, I guess.
It's considering that they even pulled off football at that time with five
I think
players,
it beats
or
electric
10 players.
football.
That's a big deal
For the
Yeah.
1970s,
I
that's what
don't
you're
run any
facing.
of these games.
you know electric football, the vibrating table?
Oh no, what's the one that was on Seinfeld? Like the handheld.
Oh,
the
electronic
Mattel?
football.
Electronic
Those
football.
are actually kind of
Okay.
fun.
Yeah, those are really fun.
Joe Posnanski wrote a big article about that, and he's Mr. Nationally Stewards writer. But yeah,
So next game.
what was next?
Next one, this is 9403. Then that's Subchase and Armored Encounter. We're starting with Subchase.
Yes.
Subchase.
So we've got a green plane with a hook. We've got a yellow submarine. We've got a orange ship on the surface, and then is that another pink airplane, or is that
It's under the water.
It looks
though.
like it's either a
Submarine or-
submarine or another boat, just at a different level.
Oh, it's just closer to us.
Okay,
It's
yeah.
got
So
some-
this is
some-
this
so you're
is
trying- you're-
this is
this-
the Odyssey version of Air Sea Battle
Yes.
for the Atari.
so the
This game was pretty
the
random.
submarine is trying. You're moving very fast across the screen, and your shots can go forward at either a steep angle or at a not steep angle. But yeah,
And the two players are moving in opposite directions in like
and there's like
Pretty much
two boats.
fixed
There's like a
paths.
submarine and a surface ship that can block your shots, basically. But your guys can go so fast, and you can. It's really hard to hit each other.
Yeah, it's too random. It's mostly randomly
And
firing.
and that sound you hear is the shots being fired. It's not the most aggressive. Like in combat, you go, that's more of the explosions are good on this, but the shots fired are that stupid built-in sound effect that you get when you hit select game.
well. And the other thing too is if you hit one of the boats in the middle, it takes a point
Oh,
away.
that's right. Yeah.
You actually get dinged for it, which I don't think was the case in Air Sea Battle, but it's been a while. I don't remember.
and watching fast forward.
So were you, I don't think I played that one too much. Were you moving fast and you could slow down?
Yes, you do
Okay.
regular speed or fast forward speed, basically. You were always moving.
Yeah.
Was this one here...
Next one should be Armored Encounter.
was this Armored Encounter here, which I think was combat.
Oh.
Bowling. Did we skip Armored
No,
Combat?
we missed Armored Encounter.
We didn't record it?
We must have. We might have skipped it, or maybe I hit the...
So Armored Encounter combat, but would you say it's unplayable as a 2-player game?
It's not unplayable, but it's certainly heavily...
Air Sea Battle's better.
Well, I mean, the second part, the Armored Encounter. I mean, Air Sea Battle's better than the Sub Chase, but the problem with the Armored Encounter is with combat, when you take a hit, you kind of like it spins you around.
Yeah.
And you get a better chance of getting away from the person.
Armored Encounter,
that
you
hits
just get up close to one another and just shoot the shit out of each other, and that you just get stuck in a rut.
Also, you get knocked through the wall, too, if you...
in combat,
So that's helpful in combat. I mean, basically, combat, they play tested. Armored Encounter, they didn't. That's all there is. They had time to actually go in and...
Let's see if it's on here.
And
I know we didn't
change
skip
it.
that. We had to record it. What? Come on. Doesn't let me go back to...
So Chris and Tatton played this for a couple of minutes, and you just were frozen in place, shooting at each other the whole time.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like whoever gets that first shot is going to be the one who wins, and that's frustrating. It's not fun. I mean, it's fun up to the point that the person gets their first shot. That's it.
It looked like combat. I mean,
I think the sprites for the tanks were bigger too,
Come on.
which was both good and bad.
So overall, it's, a lot of these games you're going to find dirt cheap. So if you have an Odyssey 2, you're going to, it's not like you shouldn't get this game, but it's not my favorite. I think the Speedway is still the better 2-player game.
but it's part of it. You get 2 games, the Sub Chase and Armored Attack. So.
But combat's better, and Air Sea Battle's better. Well, is bowling next on the list?
Yep, bowling and basketball are next on the list.
Oh, man. There's a good combo right there.
Bowling, basketball.
Now, bowling was first. Not bad, actually. I mean, it's the simple bowling game.
This is one of the games I feel like we didn't quite get all of it. I mean, like, we didn't play it enough.
We played like one game with 4
It had enough
players.
depth that we're not sure exactly how you play it still. Because we think you can get splits pretty if you know how to play it.
Right, basically,
We just couldn't figure it out.
It's a vertical game. The ball at the bottom goes back and forth, left to right. Then you hit the button to move the ball, and then you can hit the joystick to put a spin on it at whatever point, and that's...
Yeah.
So a lot of other bowling games work like that.
And it just rolls right through the pins. The pins are just big.
The pins are just dots.
And they just disappear when you hit them. So there's no animation at all. Like in because Atari Bowling had some animation for like a
It was sideways,
slow,
but it played the exact same way. Atari, it plays almost the same, although you do have the little added bit of skill of determining.
And this was the first 4-player game,
Yeah,
too.
You
Yeah, I
have
don't
to
know if
switch
you
off the
mentioned that.
controllers.
Yeah.
The 2600 version, you could set your bowler wherever you wanted, whereas this one you have a bit of skill to determine where the ball is when you shoot it off. So it's kind of like monkey bowling on the GameCube for Super Monkey Ball.
Great game.
Yeah, I love that game so much.
Crazy bowling. I was just disappointed of all the things that it doesn't have a spare or a strike. Like, they have a slash and an X built into the system for multiplication and division. So they could have put that in.
Yeah, no ceremony for a spare strike.
Yeah, you just get the... and it calculates it for you automatically. You don't have to wait. I don't know how that works. Okay.
No.
Yeah, no, it did. That was weird.
All right, now here comes the most surreal, weird fucking sports game ever.
God, looks like the basketball is like an afro on this guy. Right?
That's a good shot right there.
So,
That's
okay.
so 70s.
We're back to...
That should be our new logo. We should make it...
Awesome.
We're back to sprites that don't move. Okay. Someone else describe this. I can't even start. Okay.
So it's not even really like basketball per se. It's pretty much like there's 2 kind of like hooks coming out of the left and the right hand side, and you're just trying to like get it into the hook in the wall. It's not really like
the ball
an
just kind of
actual,
disappears
like, basket.
into it. Goes who knows where.
It's like think. Oh yeah.
You're looking at the court, if you will, from court side. You're like looking straight onto it. It's like completely like a slice of it, and there's just two players facing each other, and they slide around without moving. I guess I can describe it pretty well on the floor, and you catch the basketball. The bouncing is good. I like the bouncing,
but you're not dribbling.
Yeah, you don't dribble.
Yeah.
You
it's
toss it in.
It's like it's like a super pong sort of.
Yeah, it's really just bizarre. I mean,
It was strangely fun, but I don't know if it'd be more fun for more than 5 minutes ever.
No, Atari basketball is better. David Crane.
considering that this was a like a second to bowling. I mean, it's nice in that aspect, but
So
it's
these
not
games,
a good basketball game.
These
at all.
first games were all 2K, I think. So this game is a 1K game.
Does it
and-
go 2, 4, 8?
Yes,
Yeah.
but this.
How do you know it's a 1K? Did it say?
Well, it's. I mean, I'm assuming if they get
Oh.
half the space, maybe. I mean, it's.
Oh, because I got it.
But
Yeah.
it's just so.
Well, and the ball can like bounce under the basket and like hit the top of the basket. It's just so weird.
Yeah.
So weird.
You will never see a basketball court like that.
It actually, I don't even know why, but it reminded me of like video rat basketball.
Yes, it's very
That's what
simple.
we're gonna call it from now on.
Video rat. I forgot about that.
That's their joke. They've got rat basketball at COSI in downtown Columbus. Yeah.
The players are red and blue, so it's Bulls versus
Bulls versus
Magic. I don't know.
The Lakers. Yes.
Lakers are purple, aren't they? I don't know.
Oh, I'm thinking. I guess in the in double dribble they were the Los Angeles Breakers and they were blue.
Breakers. All right, so next game we've got is 9405, Mathematic and Echo.
Here we go with the educational kids. This is why.
This is where they start using the keyboard.
Your
Here.
parents bought you this system because it did more than just play games.
So the keyboard is, I think Chris took the most pain from the keyboard. I got the most pain from the keyboard.
Yeah, my fingers still hurt.
Yeah,
It's
it's like
one
one
of
of those flat membrane
Yeah.
keyboard that has no like
Not
give at all, pretty
Membrane
much.
keyboards at least have like a little. You can feel when you're
Click.
depressing a button. This
Yeah.
has nothing. So this is like a speed
Oh, okay. So
math.
we're
here.
getting speed math. It's giving us division problems. And so we got into some that you have to type in more than one number. And so if you're typing 18, you don't type in 1-8 for 18. No, it's
You type in 8.
you type in 8-1. You have to do everything backwards, which makes it really
If you're doing
fucks with your brain.
multiplication, if you're doing multiplication, that's the way to do it because then you do it. You know, the ones column first, then the tens column, etc.
Yeah.
But it still, we were insulted.
Yeah.
here it is, 274 times 1. I put 472 because wrong. What?
Yeah.
there's a pause.
And now
in the
we're
video.
thinking, we're thinking,
trying to
like,
figure out,
what?
what just happened?
Really?
What did I? Yeah, we're just owing at this point. Like,
So this is the game telling us, this is the Odyssey telling us that it can do math.
okay, let's see. There's 9. Let's see what we get when we get the 10th answer. 6 plus 2 is 8.
That took us too long to get. No,
Right.
finding the right key.
That was our big ceremony
You'll hear that sound again, I'm sure.
for getting 10 right. You don't even get that in grade school these days, so I guess that is kind of nice. Which
Okay,
one? This
so Echo is...
Oh, this was Simon.
Simon.
Yeah, Echo's just Simon.
So you got 1, 2, 3, 4. Red. 1 is red. 2 is green. 3 is yellow. 4 is blue. And you'll hear the tones. So it basically is Simon without a circle design. It's just a.
And you have to press the keyboard, so again, your fingers
That's a 3.
fingers are really hurting.
3, 1.
And for anyone who's watching the video, to put my my plight in perspective, 1, 2, and 3 look like very slight different shades of the same color. Like I couldn't identify what color 1, 2, or 3 is in this, but
But you have the
nice-
numbers and the sound.
Exactly. The nice thing for them is they give you the numbers. So
I need to get a real Simon.
Part of the thing about Simon though is the color would light up, and then you would press that color. This you're not pressing the color because the keyboard isn't that color. So
exactly.
nobody would use the color.
I remember getting what I get to like 11 on
You
this.
got a lot.
I think I was fairly good. I could have been better, but
At Fountains of America, they had a Simon behind the counter. It's valuable. They only made 6 bajillion of those in the 80s.
Where they have a simultaneous counter?
At Volunteers of America.
Oh, yeah.
They used to. I don't know if you guys ever went to the Little Caesars like restaurants back in the day.
Game over.
But they
10.
used to have a Simon game in the front, and if you scored, like you'd like paid a quarter to play it. And if you scored up to a certain score, and I can't remember what the score was, you got a free drink, then you got free crazy bread, and you could win a free pizza.
Wow. They probably made it like the 1 percentile like of people that can get that high. That's the free pizza.
Well, they
hardly
give
ever
you
give
one per month or year, only one-time deal. What's our next game?
Next game is 9406 Computer Intro.
Oh, yeah. This is we did not have the book for this. It's really this isn't the basic programming cartridge on the 2600. This is actually assembly language.
But the keyboard's built in, so you don't have to have like special controllers.
And there was a little moon lander game. Was this? Oh, we didn't.
Did we skip over the computer?
Does the moon lander win next?
No, next is Matchmaker, Buzzword, and Logix. What is the Moonlander?
Was this the built-in little game? Ah, well. What's this one here? Oh, this is that weird demo with that bloody guy.
What?
We didn't play this one.
I don't remember this one.
It was part of the computer. Yeah, we didn't play this one.
Maybe these are part of computer.
Oh, there's computer
there's
intro.
command.
Command. Yeah, see.
So it gave you some like built-in games for the computer intro, but then it actually lets you get into like command level stuff.
And you got like a spiral-bound book that came with it.
So do you know how much memory, like how much could you actually type? It doesn't seem like you would be able to type that much based on the games we've seen already.
I don't know. I don't even want to know. This is, I mean, basic programming for the Atari, you can only fill up that screen. It was like 3 lines of code. Wow.
Well, because the problem is there's no real RAM in those systems. I mean, everything is working out of the same memory. So when you have a certain amount of space in the game, you're loading part of that space for the actual application itself, and then your application you're running has to run beside the other application. So
we.
Oh, here's the little math demo. Yeah, we did that. Yeah. Okay. All right?
We're pretty sure we wouldn't be able to do much with it, even with the spiral bound.
Yeah, it's really just for collecting at this point. I'm sure you can find pristine copies. Nobody ever played.
but it is neat though that it is assembly rather than basic at the time. I mean that kind of dates itself in a very fascinating way.
I mean, there was a computer nerd. I mean, maybe it inspired one kid, and that's all it really needed to do.
Steve Jobs, no.
who invented the spam bot or sex sites or something horrible on the internet 20 years later.
Boob physics.
Yes, thank you. So what do we got next?
Next we have Matchmaker, Buzzword, and Logix, and it's 9407.
Okay, so this is Matchmaker is memory. Yeah,
this was decent.
They put 20 characters up on the screen, A through T, and you just go back and forth and try to match. So,
it's memory. It works.
This all probably
played it on Super Mario 3, yeah.
It's training for Mario 3 at the house. And the screen background changes color depending on whose turn it is, which is a nice touch.
Kind of.
Oh, they could do that in football. Yeah. Oh, and here's one of our first introductions to all the little characters that are built in. So the little running guy is built in.
The square, the tree.
The waving guy, the tree or the spade, I thought of it too.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a ship in one of them, isn't it?
It's a ship in one of them, yeah. In Demon Attack.
Oh yeah,
yeah, later, much later. So they played all of this to the end.
These are all probably launch games. We don't. Again, from our launch episode, we don't remember. We didn't have solid
talk
info
much about it. Yeah.
About what exactly was a launch game, what wasn't. But this is totally something you set at launch. And I believe all the launch titles were done by third parties. But then after the launch titles, one gentleman basically programmed all the Odyssey games. What was his name? Was
Ed Averitt.
Ed Averitt, yeah, which I'd love to get a hold of.
Yeah.
But apparently he works at Microsoft these days, but doesn't talk to anybody. So if you're listening, Ed, we'd like to talk to you because we like your stuff. And
come out to one of the conventions.
Come to one of the conventions, and just you put up an entire console on your shoulders, which is just unfathomable these days.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, nowadays, giving one person a sound effect is probably too much. So who wins this one? Oh, it was a 5-5 tie. Yay, us. All right, this one is...
This is Hangman. Okay.
Hangman.
So, but it was the Buzzwords? Is that what it was called?
Yeah, it's a Buzzword.
Buzzword.
So, of course, Chris went with the RSTLNE, the Wheel of Fortune. Oh, cigar. Was that right?
Yeah,
that's
look at that.
We have our first smoking reference.
Oh, yeah. This is totally rated AO. Smoking is bad.
So it's Hangman, but there's no graphics. It's entirely text-based. There's a row of 8 X's on the bottom. And every time you type in a letter, it lights up the letter in the word, or you lose one of your X's and it replaces it with a letter. So
yeah, nothing spectacular, but not terrible. It's playable.
It's really all you need for Hangman.
And better than Atari Hangman because it has a keyboard.
And considering this is on a game that has 3, this is our first one, well, our second one that has 3 games, so.
And again, I'd wonder how many words there are.
All right, last one is Logix.
Oh, which one was this?
I don't think I played this one.
Was this the one that was Mastermind?
2-0. Well, no, there was another Mastermind.
They all look like Mastermind to me.
Oh, yep. This is another Mastermind.
Okay,
this is
okay.
Mastermind.
If you could get this, you wrap your head around this one, it could be pretty good. I mean, because it's Mastermind with numbers,
right? 10-digit code.
So it works.
So I put in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 2 in the correct position and 4 total correct numbers. But we played this for like 10 minutes and we couldn't get
because it's easy to learn, difficult to master.
Plus, I was like, let's just go.
Wow, you had 4 right that one.
I know,
so
close.
And then now you can't see all your old.
Yeah, you only get to see the most
scrolls
recent
up,
4.
so you see the most
you can
recent 5.
only see 6 at a time. It's double spaced, yeah, or 1.5 spaced. They couldn't fit them in.
We got bored of that. So what's our next cartridge?
Next one's 9408 baseball.
Baseball.
Yeah, we love us some baseball here at Now You're Playing with Podcast.
Did we get a home run in this? I think we did.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
take me out to the ball.
There's no diamond.
They like to run the shift on there.
It does have all the players, but they seem to be just kind of thrown onto the field. And you can run. You can get a double on a.
The catcher looks like a mound.
You can get a
looks
double
like a beehive. All the outfielders are controlled with one thing, and
what did we
I like the
about
crowd
this
sound.
one? Yeah,
I mean,
we played this one for a while.
It's way better than football.
This isn't like basketball. I mean, this actually got the point.
Home
run
over the fence.
Nice. Like you really got baseball out of this.
Yeah,
like basketball was really just kind of surreal. The football you got football out of, and the baseball you got baseball out of.
Way better than home run the Atari. They were outdone by Intellivision later, but this came out probably before the Intellivision did. And here we are. Reds up now, and the Reds are beating the Dodgers. Or no, the Dodgers have.
Oh man, it's just you're spinning around.
Oh, there now the Reds are beating the Dodgers. Now it's 9-5. We're watching this in 10 times. And
every batter is right-handed.
Oh, of course.
The bat actually stays there.
The bat is part of the
bat stays, but the spinning of the bat is nice.
And there's only one actual base. Everything else is just implied.
Did you press stop?
I think that was the last game of this disc.
Oh, okay. Good.
Oh, gotcha.
So let me change this disc out here.
Okay, we're getting right through these. That's good. What's up next?
Next up is Computer Golf.
Okay, they skipped a serial number. So what game is that? Where's the prototype? Who has it?
9409. Where is a 9409?
See, Ed, those are the kind of questions you could answer if you could,
talk to Ed Everett.
Yeah.
He'll just hang his head in shame if I start asking him about it. No, it's impressive for one person. It's unheard of. Yeah.
Well, and it says so much for the time period too that that you would put everything on the shoulders of one person. All of your art design, your audio, your actual gameplay, your engine, your graphics. Everything was one person did all of it. It's remarkable. I mean, even as limited as the game is, that's still a lot for one person to do.
And I wonder, another question to how much oversight did he have, or did he just come up with ideas, and then they just wrote the instruction manual based around the game that he gave them?
So
there were some of them that clearly seemed like there was a marketing team that wrote the instruction manual. Yeah.
This is a 9410 Golf, or was it Computer Golf?
Computer Golf.
Computer Golf. We forgot exclamation points on all of these games.
Yeah, every game but one has a giant exclamation point.
Buzzwords, Cryptologic, Computer Golf. ball.
Yeah, we've been saying them incorrectly this
I
whole
know.
time.
We fail. We should start all over again. But this one was
Awkward.
You had to use the manual to figure out. Well, I mean, okay, it's golf, so it's a little complicated. But you had to use the manual to figure out.
But you can stand anywhere on the course and swing at the ball, but you only hit the ball if you're next to the ball. And then depending on if you're on the left side of the ball, you'll hit it forward. If you're on the right side of the ball, you'll hit it backward.
This one had the best, one of the best manuals. I mean, I should say that all the manuals are glossy, full color.
Yes.
Just beautiful.
Awesome artwork.
80s computer cheese, late 70s, yeah, early 80s. And all the boxes, which they're really easy to find, these games in boxes.
So I forget, did you have to hold in the button, or did you just push it?
You held it down.
Okay, you held it down.
And you rotate it all around like a clock hand.
You could basically hold it in until you go all the way back to the ball in the backswing, and then swing it back forward for your strongest shot. Here's the backswing there.
The problem is it tries to keep the club oriented with the ball, but you have to walk around the ball to determine whether you're shooting forward or behind you, and it's just really difficult to tell what direction the ball is going to go.
And after you hit the ball, you actually have to walk to the ball.
Yeah, so here it looks like we're literally straddling the ball and throwing the club through our legs to hit it behind us. Does that make sense, everybody? Like you're hiking the... Okay, this is me playing.
This is like my daughter playing putt-putt yesterday.
Oh, come on!
Now we're on
the putting green, so she switches to a different screen.
All the putting greens are squares. They look like a big Cheez-It.
Oh man, this is my 8th stroke.
Yeah, and this is
This game needs some Eugene Levy, I'll tell you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh God.
I think that's going to be next to the Crapple-On, actually. The Eugene
that's another one of our mascot games, I think.
That is still my favorite worst game ever.
It's just so absurd. Look at Red Player getting a 4.
So this is another 4-player game, which was nice.
So not bad. I mean, it's not good, but
it's much better in Fast Forward. Oh my God. Probably most of these games are.
I like the Lavender Golfer. That's a nice use of color there. It's gender neutral, so you can just assume that that's a girl player.
Thank God they had 2 greens programmed into the system, because otherwise its golf would look ridiculous.
All right. So what's our next game?
Computer golf to me really felt like the same as basketball. It just didn't feel like it really captured the sport. It was close to it.
No, it played better than basketball did.
It looked better too.
I think if with a little bit of practice you could actually get good at that, whereas basketball is just bong.
Yeah.
Linda here?
Yeah.
Yep. But I like the manual of that one because it had all the holes drawn. Oh, also the manuals have someone drew all the screenshots.
Oh, that's right.
To the manual.
Right, they don't actually have actual screenshots. They saved the boxes too back then. And a lot of companies did that.
Okay, yeah.
And we didn't talk about it too. They also had really nice gatefold boxes.
Oh, I love the boxes.
Yeah, that slide open and they the hinge locks when you open it, so it has an angle to it, but it stops. It's very nice.
And this is one of those systems where, I don't know about you guys, but for me personally, I found more games in the box than I have loose in the wild.
Like the Intellivision, yeah, absolutely.
It's just wild.
And they just kind of poured in to play it when you were there, right? That's how Chris made.
Yeah, that's
made
his complete collection. And I think there was a Magnavox corporate center in Columbus, because I'd never seen an Odyssey 2 growing up in Cincinnati, but I came to Columbus and I've seen tons of them. And at least 2 people had big halls that play it, and then another friend of my wife's just gave me her system, who had it growing up, and I got a bunch of box games from that one too. So but moving on, what do we got next?
Next one is 9411 Cosmic Conflict.
So this is Star Raiders-esque.
It's a first-person.
Your typical first-person space game, but there's no grid. You're just it's just the shooting part.
And you're shooting at these serene, for the most part, peaceful kind of passenger ships.
Yeah,
it was depressing.
And they're going at weird angles. So, and since you only have an 8-direction joystick, it's hard to get your whoever's
Yeah,
playing
you have to
is
shoot
terrible.
ahead of the ships, and then once in a while, like a flying saucer?
Yeah,
I
they
don't know
kinda
what it
look like
or a TIE
penises.
fighter, probably, because every game has
Every game had a TIE fighter.
and they come out, and that's the only thing that will actually take your health or kill you. I guess
Right.
this
Or
only has
running
one
out of power.
life. Okay, here's the TIE fighter where you can just avoid him. It's kind of
Well, I think later on you get nothing
have to
but
fight
TIE
them.
fighters
Yes,
because you have to
yes.
shoot like
you shoot out
you have to
everything
shoot
from
like
the sky.
so many ships to win.
Yeah, in the left-hand corner, there's a counter for the number of ships you have left, and you have to take out every ship. And so you can get it to the point where there's only the TIE fighters left.
Right, and then when you get hit, you just lose energy. There's like a timer in the lower right-hand corner. I don't think we actually lost a game.
I think we did on purpose,
Did
just
we?
just to see what happened.
But
But this was fun. It wasn't bad.
no, not
Got us point across.
yeah.
It looks nice. It's got like
Everybody had to have a
the
sports.
letterbox.
Oh, here we go.
Message from Star
Command.
Colon.
Good
work.
work. Galaxy
Galaxy
saved again.
God.
They're like,
What a
thanks
trope.
a lot.
I think didn't the next game we lost on purpose, didn't we?
Yeah, we lost on
So we
purpose.
could see the message. Oh,
Oh,
but we didn't record it.
no.
All right. So
Okay, here we go.
This
Here we fucking go. Sorry.
it's all right. This was the first one that really just kind of like set in this bizarre. We have no idea what was going on. Like after this, there were some of
Do
these
you have the
games that were
book for
just
this
so
one? We
bizarre.
got to read the instructions on this one.
No, I don't. Did you take it out? Do I have it?
Okay, what's the name?
All right. The name of the game is Take the Money and Run.
Based on the Woody Allen film. Is that a movie? I don't even know. I made that joke twice now. I don't even know if it's
I don't know.
a good joke.
No,
I don't have it.
Can you look it up, see if we can get any instructions for it
Let me see what I can
on
find.
the internets?
So take the money and run.
I'll let you guys talk about it because I didn't play this one. And it was just weird. It was weird.
Post-apocalyptic
Okay, so
economics, Pac-Man.
now this
Okay,
game,
go ahead.
you have two double-sized hand-drawn sprites for people, and you're in a maze, and there's two guys walking around, and it's either a good outcome or a bad outcome. So like this one is expenses. So if the white guys hit your guy, then you lose the amount of money on the timer. But you have to duck your head into the small corners, and you look like a headbanger. Oh, and this is another bad one called The Thief.
So we were impressed at first for a second that the
The animation of the headbanging.
they look like these like downtrodden like sack people like from the future. Like I don't know. And so yeah, you're just basically the game ends when the white
Reward.
characters
This is a positive one, so you want to get the guy this time.
and the manual for this was ridiculous. It like explained. Oh, do you have it?
I can't find a manual, but I've got the back box cover here.
Okay.
So
It's the Keynes bots, or like the Alfred Keynes, right? Or not
Yeah,
Alfred
yes,
Keynes.
the Keynesian bots or something.
Keynesian bots.
Take the money and run. Your time machine has crash landed in the year 231,000 AD.
Oh my!
You are in the land of Kinesium, an ultra-sophisticated civilization possessing enormous intellectual curiosity about economic life in the ancient days of the 20th century. You do your best to describe how the old ones spent much of their time chasing money in the runaround of the rat race. You introduce them to the concepts of profit and loss. You tell them about income, expenses, dividends, bear markets, bull markets, taxes, and inflation. The Kinesians think you are putting them on, but you give them every opportunity to prove your wild tales.
Wait, this was all on the back.
This is all in the back.
How did I fit that?
You construct the ultimate rat race.
I
More
think
than
they
a
forgot the
trillion
21st
different
century
mazes.
medical marijuana business.
More than a trillion different mazes populated by robots representing the economic factors of a long ago time and place.
Wait, a trillion? Literally a trillion different
Literally
mazes?
a trillion.
Oh man!
They start you off with $500,000. You can turn it into $1 million. You are free to return it. You are free to return to your own time. Otherwise, you are doomed to wander through the trillion maze electronic labyrinth.
$1 million
forever.
in 21,000 AD. $1 million. That's
we didn't even figure out how this game ends.
We didn't play that long. It got really obnoxious because you get stuck with your head bopping guys in the maze part, and we were just laughing at how absurd. I mean,
I hope we're conveying how utterly confounding this game is.
It's not terrible. It really isn't. It's just wow. I think they were running out of ideas at this point.
It is the epitome of WTF.
Drugs involved on this one? I don't know.
I don't know.
That'd be a good Ed question.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to assume that, but
this is the kind of thing though that I would like to ask him. Like, really, like what were you? Did this turn out? You know, like with what he was trying to do.
This is the days of hyperinflation in the late 1970s, and
this is like an anti-Jimmy Carter game.
Yeah, I mean, on the verge of the Reagan Revolution, and like the old ways of Keynesian economics were starting to fail, so they had to up the interest rates way up to settle inflation down, and it's just weird. Yeah,
it's interesting.
I like that context. That's good.
But I wonder too, how much of the game is what Ed was doing, and how much of it, like just the bizarreness, was whoever put the manual together. Because I don't think there's any confirmation that he did all the manual and all the stories and everything.
Yeah. I mean, and without the story, the game it's pretty straightforward.
It
took us a minute to figure it out.
It's kind of Pac-Man without the dots.
And you alternate. Well, not necessarily alternate, but
if you duck
chasing.
If you're in a shallow thing, you can duck your head, but you go slower. So the object is, to go fast and slow depending on whether kind of a hallway you're in, and avoid the robots or try to grab the robots.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
And the money, pretty much just equates to points. I mean, it's either, you've got two gameplay methods. It's either you're in getting more points or losing points.
Yes.
One of the two.
Yeah. It's just got this, it's just gussied up in the strangest way ever.
I kind of love it.
It's so weird. It reminds
so weird.
me. It reminds me of the first time that we played Tax Avoiders for the 2600,
which sucks compared to this. Tax Avoiders is terrible.
Yeah, I know. No,
that's a cool concept. Stupid game. This is a weird concept.
Kind of fun. Yeah, not bad. No. Weird, just weird.
Yes,
weird. The head bobbing is weird. All right, so
I think I like it a lot more now that we've talked about it. Actually, we didn't like it that much.
Was the Steve Miller song out before this game? I don't know if Steve
Miller. Maybe he's 79.
Take the money and run.
Go on.
I hate Steve Miller.
All right, 9413.
SMB.
I've got your number.
I remember Miles Davis ripping him a new asshole in his autobiography. That was the funniest bit of
that's
that
cool.
book. Yeah, it's a good autobiography. Which one is this?
This is...
Shit, I hit stop again. Fuck you, PS3.
This
9413, I've got your number.
We didn't figure this one out.
Yeah, you were getting mad at this one.
This was like, come on, guys, really? And this is
kind of like a
this
number.
Is the beginning of series of where they were.
It just kept getting worse and worse.
Yeah, the launch games were okay. Then these games, this middle set of games they were kind of pushing, and I hate to make fun of, and it's the same sprites with the head bopping guys, but
they don't need to bop. There's no reason for them to. Well, mostly no reason for them to bop.
But we have no idea what we're grabbing.
Basically, you're supposed to, I think, but we couldn't figure it out. You're supposed to match what they're asking on the bottom, but it's in such odd syntax that you don't know what they're asking for, and there's rotating numbers and figures, and
the screen changes from red to blue to green.
It's...
I just want a headbang guy.
Just stand around and headbang.
You know what? They look like a character from a Tool video. That's what they look like.
I think I want to make a YouTube video of just the guy headbanging for 5 minutes or 10 minutes on YouTube.
Yes. Nice.
I'm totally going to do that when I get some time.
Okay, here's me trying to explain it to you, but I never figured it out actually myself. I was talking out my ass.
Fast forward this one. We didn't even bother. And we tried to read the instruction books for these
and we're getting into games. You don't get two games on the cart, so you're paying what? How much were they? $40?
$20.
$20? Okay. Really? Okay.
Yeah, that's it.
But $20 in 1970s money, that's like $1,000.
Yeah.
But it was a different economy too. Gas was way less. Houses were way less. Healthcare was way less. So you had less discretion. You had more.
I guess there's always been that risk. There's always been $20, $30, $40 games, and your mom buys it for you, and it sucks.
It was controversial when Pac-Man, I think, was 30 or 25. It was higher than normal, and it sucked for the 2600.
I mean, I remember I would still play the hell out of the sucky games because that was the only thing I had at the time.
I played a lot of Othello on NES.
Uh-huh. Mortal Kombat on Game Boy.
Oh, man.
Wow. Because I didn't have anything but a Game Boy at one point, and so I wanted to play Mortal Kombat, and well, I don't know what I was thinking.
Wow.
Okay, this is
9414, Invaders from Hyperspace. So
this one was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was neat. It started out, it's the exact same thing
Although
as...
Ted can't play 'cause he's colorblind.
Yeah, I struggled with this so hard. It's the same setup as I've Got Your Number. You've got like two static icons, and there's like circling icons around it, except in this one they're all circles, and you've got two spaceships. And so the whole point of it is you have to take out the other person, but you can actually change the color of the planets. And you can end up landing on the planets if they're the same color as you. And I couldn't play this because all the colors are mostly indistinguishable.
Right. So if you have a red ship and a yellow ship, and then every time you hit one of the planets, it changes colors.
Oh, yeah.
And then, but if you're shot and none of the planets are your color, you're stuck. You can't get back into the game.
So you have to wait for the other player to accidentally...
or the aliens, because the aliens will change the colors too.
Yeah, some
it's a really good
UFOs that fly
concept.
around.
So it plays kind of like Defender with the left and right only shooting. You can't shoot up or down, but you can move up and down.
And it was fun. I liked it.
Yeah, it was an interesting concept. This is definitely a unique game to the system, and you should have it if you own the system.
If it was a later release, I would have been upset if it didn't have icons in it to for the color blindness thing. But for what it is for this, I mean, for the time and everything, I think it was great.
I think maybe the two sets of plants are probably a bit much. They probably could have just used one set, but
well, it has to be a little bit chaotic, I think.
Yeah.
Even though you have the randomness of the alien spaceship hitting, I like the chaotic nature of it, and they move in a cool way. They're
right.
like
they're sort of
rotating.
They're sort of rotating around a black hole in the middle that you don't see.
And their movement's kind of chaotic too. It's not like methodical.
Yeah,
like
it's start and
shake
stop
around.
a little bit.
Do you get points for shooting the saucers?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's actually the only
And
point
each
you
other?
get.
No, I thought don't you shoot each other?
Oh yeah, and each other.
Or no?
Chaos. Chaos ensues.
The score's not moving. Oh,
They moved there.
You got a
Moved
point.
there. There's just not
So
much.
yellow is.
And no points for shooting each other.
You don't get shoot. Yeah, so you only get points for shooting the saucers. But
I didn't
you shoot,
know that.
But if you shoot each other, then you get stuck in the
black hole.
I need a
planet.
color planet to take off from.
Yeah.
I claim this planet by shooting it.
Yeah, makes sense.
Not a bad little 2-player game. And then you play a 10, and that's your.
But why does it say Invaders on the bottom if it's called Cosmic Conflict? I'm thrown by that.
No, it was Invaders from Hyperspace.
Oh, it was? Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
I keep looking at the wrong plane.
All right,
Got
next one is Thunderball.
What's number 20?
9415.
Oh, this is fucking awful. We're the biggest.
This is the pinball, right?
Yes, we're big video pinball fans. We've come to love pinball, and this is just atrocious. I like video pinball on Atari 2600, but
It's got a bouncing ball. There's no gravity.
Think of the
Well,
bouncing.
there is gravity, but it's just...
You know those cheesy sing-along things on TV with the bouncing ball along the lyrics? That's the trajectory this ball is taking. And it's just constantly bouncing at that same height and speed, and it's not even...
This is the first one that I think like we could program a better pinball game on this system. I don't know.
Yeah,
it was so bad.
It's the same physics as basketball.
The same ball.
Bigger, but yes.
Bigger, okay.
Same color.
There's a spinner at the top, sort of, that captures your ball. You can move your flippers left and right a little bit.
That's weird. I don't like that at all.
There's some pinball machines that do that, isn't there?
And it never...
Is there?
Oh, really?
I think so.
You can
Not
never
a
seem
lot.
to roll... It never rolls down your flipper. It just, like, drops down the center.
Yeah,
and stuff.
it's just always bouncing. Bounce, 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 bounce,
Yep.
bounce.
You can't trap
in
it.
that same sine wave.
Yep.
We really hated this.
Awful.
And all we did after we were done playing Odyssey, we got back out Midnight Magic and video pinball for the Atari.
And those are both really good.
Yeah, compared to this especially. This is bad.
Awful.
I need to get a copy of Midnight Magic. I'm hearing about it.
Oh, it's so much fun. I love it.
I have video pinball.
That's kind of our first real. All basketball was pretty bad, but bowling saved that.
Yeah,
cartridge.
basketball's bad. And
Thunderball is such a cool name. Thunderball.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
James
had-
Bond movie.
had
Yeah.
potential. Lost it.
What we got next?
9416 Showdown in 2100 AD.
Nice. This is Outlaw, basically.
Futuristic Outlaw.
Yeah,
So this game has a really long draw, right? Like, you don't just shoot. You have to hold the button. And basically, like, you have to... You're loading your gun each time or cocking it.
And you got those generic trees in there. The sprites are kind of cool. You're very nicely animated.
Can you shoot the trees down?
And I love the death animation.
Yeah, you die like all that's missing is like a rose coming from your belly, basically.
You actually fall down
in your hands,
and then you get a big giant belly. Yeah, you're kind of skinny otherwise, and then when you're shot, you blow up immediately.
You're bloating out in the desert.
Yeah.
Oh.
And then you can bounce your bullets off the trees, and the bullets can ricochet off the trees and come back and hit you. Like you can hit yourself.
The walking is nice. You saunter like a cowboy.
And
cowboy running for his life
too.
Yeah. Oh, it's like Gumby cowboy kind of like you have really spaghetti like limbs. Do the colors change when you hit the trees?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know why.
Yeah, it's acceptable.
It could go a little faster, but it's not bad. Outlaw is about the same. There's another Outlaw game on like the Valley Astrocade and.
Outlaw had all the variations, though, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Still doesn't have anything. Do you have bullets?
Were there limited bullets?
There's 6 bullets on the bottom. You have a limited number.
6-shooter.
Makes sense. Do we ever play where we ran out of bullets?
Oh, there we go. Someone did.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, the other person could just shoot both of theirs.
What happens if both people... We didn't find out.
Oh, you killed him with the last bullet. Way to go, Red Cowboy.
Ricocheted off the tree.
So this one is this is Westworld, basically?
Yeah, those aren't very good cactus.
We played this one a lot.
Serious.
Yeah.
We found that with a lot of the multiplayer games that we were playing. It's, it's like you play it, and it'd be kind of okay or whatever, but then we start getting competitive, and all of a sudden it became really fun.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably one of those things
when you're playing... a lot of people play old games by themselves, let's face it.
Yeah.
I was a collector for years before I knew anybody that gave a shit about this stuff. And I would play it for a few minutes, and be like, okay, whatever, yeah, great.
Yeah,
I'll only play my certain favorites, but... this is one of the few times we've actually sat down and went through everything on a particular system, and we're finding stuff that I wouldn't give a shit about by myself to be way more enjoyable with somebody else. No, I doubt we're going to play much of these for Hexadecathlon, but I think we have some possibilities.
I think we do have one contender.
There's some possibilities.
A few. Yeah.
But it's and I'm looking forward to doing this with other systems too. Honestly,
it'd be great to do the final game for the Hexadecathlon is take the money and run. Get it down to 2 people. That's how about
well, now we're revealing it on the Pocket Billiards. Like, have it just to reveal. Let's say, yeah, this is the last game, but then actually have a good last game that you bring out instead.
You have to read this whole storyline. Have Corey do it. What's our next game?
All right, next game we've got is War of Nerves, 9417.
This is Othello, right?
I don't remember.
Yeah, I think I destroyed Steve.
I'm glad we recorded this.
No, this is a really good one.
This was the real-time strategy.
I didn't like this one at all.
What was it? What was this about? It was like the 2 robots, or it was 2 warriors who have with a robot army.
Yes, you control a general basically, and you start on opposite sides of the screens. 2-player, you're each a general.
Opposite corners, yeah.
Opposite corners, and you each have a robot army of 4 robots that kind of do your bidding, but not really.
They shoot on their own,
and you're basically just trying to avoid being shot by or touched. There's like a flaw in this game. Shot or touched by the other robots.
I like this one. I thought this one was fun.
For an attempt at a real-time strategy, it's unique.
I mean, you have to, like... the only control you have over your robots is you can press the button, and they can, like, call you to your general direction. And so you have to avoid the other people's, the other players' robots, and try to get, like, close to them, and then call them over to you, and...
I wasn't. Maybe if I had felt that, I would like it a little bit better.
It's clunky.
I wasn't getting enough feedback from the robots when I would call them. Like, it just seemed like I was doing nothing.
It's Peakman 0.5.
I think. So maybe I just wasn't
General
paying
Olimar.
attention enough. Maybe, I don't know.
But I like the little animation when you win and start jumping up in the air. But
Oh, and also when you get 10 points on the other guy, isn't this one where you grow really big?
No,
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, your sprite like
Doubles.
doubles.
that's
in
the thing
size.
with Odyssey games. A lot of the arcade type games, you have one life, and these multiplayer games, you like double your size in your sprite. Smithereens does that too, and it's really awkward looking. But let's fast forward here and show you the for our video watchers.
I mean, because it's already pixelated to begin with. The size.
Here we go, 9-2.
Okay, here comes the last
Where we're
point.
killing ourselves at this point on purpose.
I guess, in spite of my...
There
we
he
go.
is. Look
Oh,
at that.
there.
Huge him.
I think I did have a little
his
fun with
legs
this.
are
now that
wiggling.
I'm remembering.
Yeah, I mean,
We played much worse than this.
Okay, what's next?
Next one is 9418 Alpine Skiiing.
Okay. Chris was really good at this one.
all these skiing games are the same. Atari did not have a skiing game. Activision did, but Intellivision had a skiing game. We don't have.
That's right. Atari didn't, did they?
No. Yeah.
Is it Alpine Skiing? No, this is what's. Never mind.
Alpine skiing. But there's like slalom, giant slalom downhill, and then the trees are all red and blue. Or those are gates, not trees, but they look like trees.
Yeah, man.
And like the two sides are scrolling separately, so it's kind of off-putting. But
it's technically impressive that they're scrolling separately. I think.
Yeah.
They all kind of. It's no ski free.
That's good. It's no chips challenge.
Yeah.
No. And I couldn't wrap my head around, like, this was easy for me to figure out, but like the going around them, I couldn't. You were explaining it to me, and I was
they
just
were like
dense
vertical
or
ones.
something.
They were vertical gates, right? That's
Yeah.
the downhill. You just go through horizontal gates, but then the slalom, it's two vertical gates. So you'd have two blues vertically you have to go through, and then so that's how you would slalom back and forth between the vertical ones. But it's kind of
The gates are the same trees as in every other game that we've mentioned.
right. So the yellow skier one there, and here's a
Slalom, and yeah, you do blue, blue, red, red, blue, blue, red, red, and I was just going through every single one every time.
We're getting minus points all over the place. Yeah. So it's
I mean, it's pretty, but it's also awkward that they weren't able to draw a line in between the left player and the right player.
Yeah.
So, like, for me watching, I don't know what it was like playing, but for me watching, I couldn't tell, like, whose gates were on what side, especially when you start getting to the vertical ones.
I didn't have much of a problem while playing, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's all right. I mean, I think it's another one of those clone games that's done elsewhere and not significantly better or worse than other versions.
Mm-hmm.
But if you have an Odyssey 2, I don't think that this one costs anything. So
Yeah, I mean, all these, I mean, if they're cheap, it's worth getting them, but
yeah. What do we got next?
if these get expensive, it's not worth tracking some of them down.
All right, we'll get to the expensive ones later.
All right, so 9419, Out of This World and Helicopter Rescue.
Oh man.
So I'm not
Forget
remembering
Out of This World.
Yeah. Well, at least Helicopter Rescue had one thing. We remember it.
Yeah.
One thing going for
Yeah,
it.
well, is that a point?
Oh.
Did we do Helicopter Rescue first? Yes.
Okay, we did.
The helicopter sounds cool, and it's got this really cool graphical effect with the rotaries.
And also
rotors.
when it turns, it's nice.
And when you turn, it's got this weird, cool 3D effect.
Yeah.
Animation.
That must
But
have taken a while to program
the game
that,
itself
like,
is
to figure that out.
god
The
awful.
animation.
So you have to go up on this building,
Pick up
drop
a
your
dude.
little life preserver,
Yeah.
pick up a guy off the building, then take it to the heliport on the right, and you have 2 minutes. The most people you get in 2 minutes, that's your score.
I used to play this game with my Tonka helicopter, like picking up dudes. Like,
And the graphics are so blocky, but then that cool effect with the spinning helicopter, it's like, well, it's so weird.
Yeah, I mean, it's neat. I didn't play this one. I wanted to play this one.
But and I guess the
it's
helicopter.
always the same terrain, always the same dude.
We try to drop it
being
off
picked up.
on the building, and it doesn't work. You got to do it on the spot.
There's not much game here.
No.
It's
This one felt like a launch title, and this couldn't have been a launch title. It's pretty too far along in the process.
look at the rotors when you fast forward. You can see the. that's cool.
Here's the.
It's like a rudimentary version of Towering Inferno for the Atari.
What was the other game?
It was Out of This World.
So this is Out of This World. It's basically a lunar lander type. Or is this the one? What's the next one on the list?
Hockey and soccer.
Okay, so this had to be it.
So yeah, you just got to land without crouching.
Right.
You have a dreidel at the top that is, you're supposed to. Oh no, you're supposed to hit the
dreidel.
That's a good game idea. No, you got to hit the dreidel. That was the point of it, not land. Or
Right. The Michael Collins in the pink space dreidel.
nice.
And we're horribly. So it's Lunar Lander, but you only go up and down. There's no.
Oh god.
There's no maneuvering left and right. Like
There's
in the
another one
Atari
that
version.
I freaking suck at. I could not.
But you
play this
save
game.
all your conserve your fuel to do it just right. But
And the game seems like it just stops when you lose your fuel.
When you're
like
out
you
of
don't.
fuel.
You have to reset the game every time. Nice.
Oh, look at that catch!
Nice.
Way to go, Michael Collins, Space Jew. Not really.
No, well, if you're piloting, you're more like Neil Armstrong.
Buzz.
Yeah, Buzz. Oh,
Dreidel. Your astronauts made of clay. So
I made you
yeah.
out of bits and bytes.
So yeah, that one has some
Game
stuff.
flaw.
On it. Yeah, well, it's probably the cartridge flaw, the multi-cart.
Yeah.
All right, next one, 9420, hockey and soccer.
So helicopter rescue, lunar, not lunar. What was it?
Out of this world.
Out of this world is. I had to kind of nix that one, although I guess it is funny if you find it cheap.
And you like dreidels.
You make dreidel jokes.
It's worth it.
Space dreidels.
If it's less than $5, it's worth it just to see the helicopter animation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was cool. I mean, that's for this time.
That was
so
the most
neat.
impressive thing.
Yeah, I know.
we've
That's the
seen
most.
so
The
far.
most amazing graphical effect: total destruction of a helicopter. Thanks, George Plimpton.
Coming second would be the headbanging, I think.
Oh yeah, the headbanging guys. I love that. What was this one? Oh, here we go. Soccer,
Hockey and soccer.
So,
which actually
Hockey
makes
was-
sense
yeah.
because those two are similar sports. They
Yeah.
don't have to do much to the cartridge. They can probably use a lot of the same components. But
we found hockey a lot better. I did. Soccer was really hard to score just because it was a bad game.
because it's soccer.
Yeah. It's accurate. Yeah. It's ended a scoreless tie.
Scoreless
Again.
tie, and
yeah.
there's rioters in the stands, and
This one could have used a really annoying vuvuzela sound, though. Because we know the Odyssey is good at making annoying sounds. So, right?
See, that would have been great if they had the voice pack on this. They could have made the familiar
Yeah.
sound out of that.
It would be more like,
you turkey.
you would blow out the voice module with that pretty quickly. Or throw it out the
Turkey?
fucking window. Okay. Somebody else swear. I'm the
Fuck
only one
soccer.
swearing so far.
Yeah, this is. Here we go.
is
The blue
garbage.
team and the red. Yeah, I mean,
Same little running dudes.
look, it's like
It's glitching out.
But like the computer players,
this is
pretty
actually
much
kind of
don't
fun
move
looking
at all.
with the
Like,
And
with the 1.5 speed.
The ball never satisfyingly goes all the way to the net. It just goes like 1 pixel's width past the goalie, and that's a goal.
But red is killing blue here.
I was blue.
This is awkward at best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So hockey, we were like, oh, it's going to be exactly the same. It was pretty much, but
I forget more soccer.
you must have played it for a while.
Yeah. There we go.
Okay.
But the nets in this are just red squares about 1/5 of the way in from the side. So there's a lot of space behind the net. And there's only 2 players with sticks at any particular point.
this is good
And,
because
the puck doesn't keep going. It's not ice hockey. It's field hockey.
but the
And
puck,
if it's field hockey, I want skirts. I want Catholic high school girls in skirts. And little green and blue guys aren't it.
I used to record as a job, record the Ohio State field hockey team. It was a good gig. It's a good gig. I got paid to do it too. Lots of Dutch people play field hockey.
Do you play with wooden shoes?
I hope so.
That'd have been so
But-
funny if you didn't preface that with
Yes.
that was a job until afterwards.
Yeah, I used to back in college.
I was like, oh, I used to love filming.
Field hockey skirts.
So field hockey. This is a total non sequitur here, but field hockey was it's the sport at Ohio State that it balances out football. It's the only sport that's like only women, and football is the only sport that's only men. But
Title IX.
10 people go to the field hockey games, and 100,000 go to the football games.
Well, if they publicize who on the field hockey team, they could probably get more than 10 people.
I did like the puck in that game. But it
didn't
moved faster. It didn't bounce.
But it didn't. It wasn't on ice. It didn't.
Yeah,
it didn't
go all the way
The
to the
momentum
end.
didn't. It would stop like a soccer ball.
I mean, they could have done that. Just use the same physics as the football.
They're playing on fucking gravel.
Yeah, the football game. The football went all the way to the other side.
It is Zamboni.
They should have used
smooth the ice out.
the Thunderball physics.
Oh,
We gotta call up Ed. Can you fix this? Sorry,
he's got the
Ed.
only programming.
I don't want. We love this system. Seriously, we don't. We're laughing with it, not at it. We love it.
We care.
We do.
Yes.
And I'll say this right now. Nostalgia gets you into classic gaming, but discovering stuff you haven't played before is what really keeps me interested these days. I'm not going to play the same game of Bump and Jump and Burger Time over and over and over and over again 20 years later after I played it originally.
But unfortunately,
30 years later. It's this discovering this new stuff and homebrew games. But doing this for the Odyssey, this has been my biggest intake of brand new stuff since I played this stuff originally back in the day.
Most people do get into it to play the games they played as a kid, or
Right.
So you have to really immerse yourself first in that, and then I think once you're into that, you eventually start getting into.
I read an article
happened to
where
me,
where they say that nostalgia only lasts like 20 minutes. And I can attest, a lot of people's testimonials about, I got my Genesis out and played it for 20, played it,
and
for
then it goes
whatever,
away
and
for another 10 years.
Or I bought a Genesis, played for a little bit, and put it away. And that's why I'm podcasting and writing articles and going to conventions and buying stuff. I'm doing a lot of stuff other than playing games because that's what's keeping me interested is all this fresh new stuff about the subject.
Well, and the other thing that's cool too, and I think that this, I mean, all of us being about the same age for the most part, grew up with this. We were kids when a lot of these games came out,
Right, but I never heard of this.
Yeah, no, neither did I. But being an adult and seeing this, you really see like how much effort was put into making this stuff happen with the hardware that it had.
Right.
And I know this is a topic for another podcast at some point, but I'm very much losing interest in modern gaming. Modern gaming, most of modern games are cookie cutter. A lot of them just become very boring, and
they're too long.
I'm not connecting to it. Yeah, I mean, everything has to be an epic, and you go back and you play stuff like this, and what it lacks in polish in some cases. Maybe just from design, maybe from the fact that one person's doing everything, maybe from hardware limitation. But it makes up with heart, and you really get
it's handcrafted.
Yeah, there's like a passion that comes out of this that
You can get one person's real perspective out of it, and it's not a team of mishmash.
Right, exactly.
It's not a field hockey team masquerading as digital soccer.
And it's not hitting demographics. Well, I guess it's copying the games that it copies, but yeah.
So our next game is
9421 Dynasty and Directional Dynasty, which is pretty much just like Go and Othello.
Yeah.
We
played a complete game of this,
and I destroyed Steve.
How's the colors on this one? Can you?
There's
you play this
gray, and then there's some other color. That's all I get.
Yeah, because there's three.
There's three colors, so I would beat Tatton.
But they were doing this just to be different from Othello, which is black and white.
There's like two little guys on the side of the screen for some reason. But
It's probably indicating who the players are. But then your cursor's still white.
Because your cursor is moving. Yeah. So
and then it
there's a
keeps
timer
time for you.
Yeah.
I still like in television Othello. It has the coolest sound effects for the computer making its move, and you can play a 10x10 board instead of just or a 6x6 board instead of just 8x8.
So I'm going to go ahead and say, typical Othello, I was crushing you, and then you came back and just
Well, yeah, I got my one corner and
It's all the corners.
Yeah, the corners are locked in. It's Othello. It plays. It works.
We'll play it and fast forward here for the viewers at home on our hopefully YouTube version. And there's
I was
Steve
red.
gave away the corner
Yeah,
right there.
34-6 at one point.
Yeah, there I go.
Yeah, no, Chris got all the corners.
And I'll tell you, the toughest version of Othello on a video game system is the SG-1000 version of Othello. The easy level destroys me every time. So, fun bit of trivia for you. And I think I want to have all our systems play Othello against one another. I want an Othello off and a checkers off.
And a chess off.
Chess would take a while.
It'd still be cool, though.
But definitely Othello, because a lot of systems have Othello. What's our next game?
Let's see here. Did we hit both Dynasty and Directional Dynasty?
I don't
or did
know
we
if we
only record
played
one?
Directional.
Yeah. And here, I think this is our system is messing up here.
All right. So, well, when we get to it, the next one is 9422 Volleyball.
Oh, this one was odd.
Oh, this is
This wasn't as bad as basketball.
it's a companion though.
It's
the way it's
right
set up.
there.
You're kind of like in separate pits with a big line up the net up in the center.
There we go.
And you're hitting the ball out of the pit basically over into the other guy's pit. It's not. It's got two perspectives at once. Basically, it's like a Picasso. If you will. Game.
Think of Tennis for Two, the oscilloscope game, where it's a side view of the tennis ball, but then your players can be basically floating up above the net to spike it down. So it's like 2D, 3D. It's really hard to describe, and it took us a little while to figure it out, but It's volleyball. It's not really volleyball, but it's kind of a cool, interesting concept versus that terrible basketball.
And it plays like Pong, pretty much. I mean,
Pong
it'll bounce.
with 6 pedals.
Service change, and look at where all rainbow people jumping up and down and happy.
All right, but the serve change is exciting, though. I like the animation.
And you can spike. You can hit it harder.
Yeah.
You serve it just like volleyball.
Really weird.
Yes. Serve change. Yay! I don't think we played a whole game of this because we were kind of...
Back in college, I used to go to the volleyball games. And I was
in volleyball band, so the athletic band.
In college?
Yeah, because I couldn't do marching band because it took too much time commitment. So I still did the basketball, volleyball, hockey.
What'd you play?
Trumpet. Nerds. What's this one? This is electronic table soccer.
Yep, electronic table soccer.
Number
this
90.
9423.
So this is foosball.
Foosball. But you only have control over one set of bars, one set of people, of 3 people. You can't switch, as far as I can tell. You cannot switch. So basically, there's a bunch of characters on there that just block, that do nothing.
It's really weird.
So it's really hard to get the ball in.
We didn't read the instructions on this one, I don't think, because I think there's got to be a way to control the other guys.
Okay, yeah, because it's really blocked.
But you can hold the ball as much as you want, too, so it isn't really foosball, because the ball constantly moves in that.
Well, you can, if you're really good at foosball, you can, not that I am, but you can pass back and forth like they are.
Yeah,
so
not that easily.
Yeah.
You can also pass it vertically, up and down, on the same row of players, which you can't really do in real foosball, to my knowledge.
Oh, okay.
And the ball doesn't seem to go diagonally ever. It seems to just go left and right, up and down.
You know, if there was a way to change the players, it would be on the keyboard, and that would be impossible. So,
with 2 players.
Yeah, it would be almost so it.
And again, I don't want to sound like I'm crapping on a system, but we have there's a diagonalage. The stock sound effects do kind of get to you after playing this for several hours. Although we're going to get some cooler stuff with the voice module. Unfortunately,
yay, a goal!
We didn't get to record the voice module with our DVD here, but that's okay. So, electronic table soccer.
Got us point across. Wasn't great, wasn't terrible. All right. Next one we've got is 9424, Pocket Billiards.
Well, I'll say this. At least there are actual 10 balls on this game. The only billiards game I could think of is Side Pocket. I think that only had 3 balls.
Oh, really?
I think
that's just Carnival.
Yeah, it was weird. It was very very limited. Maybe 6, but there's a lot of balls in this game.
But some of the balls look like ET for some reason.
I think it was glitched out.
Yeah,
probably
our multi-cart was weird on that. But it's
sometimes you'd get close. Just one little pin would throw it off a little bit. Oh, we didn't play much of that.
So it's 8-ball rotation, and it's kind of like golf. You just move the stick all the way around, and then your power is based to whether it's a short shot or a long shot. It doesn't seem to be much other option. It's not like a smooth.
Now, except with golf, it is actually clear when you line up the cue with the ball, the direction it's going, where it wasn't clear with golf.
But the physics aren't really there for a good billiards game, it's kind of more ambitious than.
Oh, that one looks like a fetus, kind of. Oh.
That one looks like a lime from Pac-Man.
It's like little ETs.
Yeah, this
weird.
footage probably is going to be kind of embarrassing, and I don't feel like getting new footage. Maybe I will, because I need to record some Sid the Spellbinder footage, because we didn't get that on our DVD either. So let's scan forward here. Yeah,
I don't have much to say about this. Boring.
It's billiards. It's not meant for. It's one of those things like you could put anything to a video game, so let's put something to a video game. Later on, they discover what was actually fun and what wasn't. Nobody gives a fuck about volleyball except that there's girls playing. Nobody gives a shit about, hell, baseball. There's hardly any games anymore.
All right, our next one is 9425 Pachinko. This was actually fun.
This was surreal.
We thought it was going to be just as bad as pinball when we started playing it.
So it's kind of like versus double breakout, but instead of breaking bricks, you're trying to get your ball into these containers that are only open at the top.
And the numbers
the points you score change
when did
randomly,
they change?
and then the color of the balls change. So you can have yellow or red balls, and you have a yellow red guy and a red guy.
The numbers change every time it hits that pyramid in the center. I never noticed. So yeah, if you touch the ball, it turns to your color, and then you get all the points for your guy when it hits. You probably already explained all this.
Yeah,
it's fun.
It's one of those manic classic games that would be perfect for hexadecathlon, as it's almost random. I mean, there's some skill involved, but a lot of
It's mostly random.
I didn't feel like cheated by it, though. I don't know if I won or lost even, but
it really doesn't have much to do to Pachinko.
No, it doesn't.
Pachinko is Plinko, basically. Where
you do have the you can shoot it up.
You shoot. There is some skill in the shots, but there's no plunger, so you're a little guy with a little.
Yeah.
And really, I mean, timing wise, would the SG-1000 Pachinko be in the same time frame?
No. This has got to be 70s still. SG-1000 is 83.
Is it? Okay.
So that's 5 years later. So what's next?
All right. So next one we have is Casino Slot Machine. We were totally on a gambling kick.
All you need to know is it's a stupid slot machine. You can bet up to 5 directions. And video slots. Who gives a? This is one of those things. They did it because they could. We have to remember, though, in the late 70s, gambling was only legal in Las Vegas. I don't even know if Atlantic City was just opening up at that point, but it had not yet swept the nation like it has now. And I think gambling at this point is kind of blasé unless you have an addiction. So,
or unless you're trying to get money in Dead or Alive beach volleyball.
Yeah, or if you're opening up a internet cafe, quote unquote,
games of skill
arcade. So
yep,
it's just slot
although
machine.
I guess there was a slot machine game on Atari, which this might look better than. I couldn't tell you. Oh, look at those fake coins you win. It's the same old stupid Odyssey 2 sound effects.
No.
Right, I shouldn't say that. That's mean.
The one thing that is neat about this, though, is you actually start with no money and you go into debt like as soon as you start playing.
It's like Animal Crossing.
It's like I have nothing to my name, so I'm going to start putting 10 cents in the slots and hope I get on the positive side. Because usually you start out with like $100,
yeah,
$1,000, something like that.
Oh man,
something. I mean, I don't even know how you can gamble to begin with if you don't have any money. Okay,
whatever. Next.
All right. So Blockout and Breakdown, 9427.
All right, this is. Yeah, well, anytime you don't have a paddle controller, that's already a strike against you.
Mm-hmm.
The other particular bad thing about this is the gigantic size of the blocks that you're breaking. And then you have these little men walking across that are rebuilding the blockout. And there's only 4 stripes: a green, blue, yellow, a red stripe.
It's like they wanted to add a wrinkle to the game, but they failed at adding anything interesting.
You can't. I mean, it's Breakout, but
You can't hit the blocks with the dude. Yeah.
And every system basically had a breakout. Although television didn't. I think they had a prototype for one, but they never actually did it. This is...
Oh, but the second version is better because the ball flies through the
And
bricks.
it's smaller bricks. These are just oversized.
So is this after Waz's breakout?
Woz did the first original arcade breakout.
Okay.
And although it's technically Steve Jobs, but he got Woz to do it for him and took all his money. What a shrewd businessman, Jesus. I mean, Steve Jobs was. Then he went to India. Okay, so what's next?
I think the other version. This is the version where the
There's
ball
also the breakdown.
breakdown.
This is breakdown. Exclamation point, sorry.
Yeah, the ball flies through the blocks, and that's it.
Yeah, look at those people falling. And now they're rebuilding the castle.
Weird.
Oh, okay, so this version, the ball doesn't bounce off the bricks, it goes through the bricks. So if you ever played Alleyway on Game Boy, it's like the special stages in that game.
Launch game, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
I love Alleyway.
Oh, Alleyway is one of my favorites. I think it's one of the best
That's the
breakout
best
versions that's been released.
That's the best breakout game that doesn't use a paddle.
Mm-hmm. No, agreed.
Because Arkanoid uses a paddle, so you can't call that one.
And don't you have to throw the joystick all the way to left or right to get it to even move?
Yeah, there's a lot of
on this one.
Very frustrating.
Okay.
Beep 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 beep. So negative on this one.
Yeah.
Beep 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 beep.
Okay, I'm afraid to ask what's next.
9428 Alien Invaders.
Okay.
Plus.
Oh no!
This
I
is
thought it'd be one terrible game, but it's another.
this is Space Invaders for the Odyssey 2, and this is my least favorite game
On the Odyssey 2?
on the Odyssey 2.
Wow.
I really despise this
game
particular
is-
game. It's brutally hard. You have 3 block shields, and your cannon is a gigantic pyramid at the bottom that's very wide, so you can take shots from the left side, the right side.
And it's got Desert Bus scoring.
It is.
You have to clear
very
out.
good. You get 1 point for clearing out the entire stage.
It is a struggle to get 1 point.
And the alien gets a point anytime you lose, so you're gonna, and it's like a race to 10, I guess.
And your shield is literally the width of your ship.
Right.
I mean,
yeah.
you get no. I mean, there's no give. You have
they
to
fire
be perfectly
completely
under
randomly.
it.
Well, not only do they fire completely randomly, which is not terrible, but it's so fast.
Yes, the
fire.
bombs just come way too fast. And if you lose your shield, then you have to
steal. If you lose your ship, you have to steal one of your shields.
You make a ship become a new your shield become a new ship.
And then when you've lost your last,
You're a little walking man.
and instead of just killing you, because that's the only outcome possible at that point, you have to impotently avoid the alien.
And the bullets are fast. I mean,
And you have a row. There's like a row of cannons, or there's a row of circles that block shots. Then there's the row of like little mushroom things that shoot the bombs, and then there's the row of guys, the actual aliens. And it is really extremely freaking hard.
This is Tatton playing. He's pretty good.
He's trying to clear this out, but
you never get a point.
I don't think we get a point, or we did get a point at the very end.
Oh
No,
man,
right,
he
he
got
got
all the
to-
way down to just the alien. Okay, yeah, it's
I don't know what the plus is, but the plus is like the biggest fuck you of this title.
well. The plus, I think that the plus is you can steal the shield to make your ship, but it looks kind of like claymation when you do it in fast forward. But
so the aliens have won 8 times. We've yet to win a point. 9 times. Is this the big magic 10? Do we get? Oh, there's the end of the
that's
game.
the end of the game. Yep.
it wouldn't have been
Chris and I
bad.
played this game a couple months ago, and we actually got a point.
We got 8.1. So we played it for a good 20 minutes, and we were playing all the different Space Invaders clones for a video series that we hope to get up at some point.
It wouldn't have been bad if your ship wasn't so big. Like
if you didn't have that row of shields,
even the row of shields is okay. I think the thing that's frustrating about the row of shields is that the enemy ships, their bullets penetrate the row of shields very fast, and you can't. So I think that's frustrating.
The shields. There's a lot of things that could improve this game. If the shields actually walked across the field, instead of going back and forth or if they had more than 2 positions that they were in.
Yeah, I understand that they couldn't rip off this. Lawsuits were becoming, as we're going to find out later. You couldn't just blatantly steal everybody else's game ideas at this point. You had to have your own hook at this point. But in this game just hurried or something, and it is my least favorite of the Odyssey 2 stuff.
I can't quite say that for this game. There's something else coming.
I know. I keep looking down the list at 9432 going.
All right, so what's next?
Next one is UFO, 9430.
I like this. I don't even know. This is sort of asteroids.
Did this one grow on you guys?
Yeah.
I think you kind of hated it at first.
At first we didn't like it, but it's got this unique thing. You're a little UFO, and there's a circle around you. And there's a light going around that's several dots, and then one of those dots is lit up, and that's the dot of your direction of fire, but it's constantly rotating. So you have to wait to aim your shot at whatever's. So you can move around freely, up, down, left, right, and then you can shoot in any direction, but you have to wait for your shot to fire. Like, you have to wait until the proper angle to shoot. So.
And so when you don't shoot, you build up a shield completely around your ship.
Yes.
And you can just run into the bad guys. And it takes your shield, but it blows them up. And you can take out multiple guys sometimes if you hit the bomb guys. I played that way. Oh, when you die, it's
this is
exceptional explosion.
This is the first of the one ship of the one man games. That's something I really like about Odyssey 2 games is that hardcore, you only get one life.
I appreciate that a lot. I like that.
Yeah, and that explosion effect is pretty dramatic. But I really do like this game.
It was the first really kind of alive, like visceral look of a graphic in one of these games. I think the death on here, you throw off pieces of your ship. It's really dire, for the ship. And this is, I think, the first game where you can type in. So if you leave the system on all day. You type in your high score. Yeah. Yep, and you type in your name.
I really do like this one a lot, and it's not it's asteroids, but it's not. And unlike Space Invaders, this one really works for me. Oops, not that one. Let's do a little fast forward here. Steve is the high score at 11 points so far, and then somebody's destroying that high score.
Wow.
66. Who got that one?
I don't think I played this one. It must have been you, Chris.
I thought we all played these.
The ships you're fighting look like cat food.
Jacks.
Pieces. Jacks.
I guess I did play it.
Jacks and balls, literally.
So, UFO, fun one.
Oh, here we
are. Okay.
9432. Monkey Shines.
What the fuck?
This is my worst one for the system.
Me too.
This is so bad.
We never figured this one quite out.
This game made me sad. Okay. Yes.
The monkeys actually kind of look cool. I'll say that, but
they do. They're animated well.
We read
the instructions and it wasn't quite clear, and we were in a hurry to play all the games.
It just said to tap the monkey. I don't even know what it told you to do, but the jumping is really touchy.
Climb on the bars and hopefully they don't rip your limbs off. And there's no bananas.
Yeah, where's the bananas? It just says monkey down the side.
But that's like a grid, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and a monkey.
So it's like Y1.
Well, we don't know why.
And then the monkeys just slaughtered you over there.
And you're frozen, and that's it. And that's the end of the game. You're frozen.
Then you reset and start
worst
over.
game for me.
We tried reading the book, no luck. Yeah.
Was the book even bad too?
The book was
didn't
bad.
Look nice.
It had that. Yeah, this is the first one of those games that's got her to get away from the cool art. It had this really weird fucking space monkey on it. It was kind of. I just don't think you can do a space monkey properly. It's no
Congo.
It's no space dreidel. I'll tell you that. Space dreidels are way better than space monkeys.
This is one of those games that probably seemed like it had a very lofty design idea. And then just didn't play through, and it was probably too far into development for them to realize.
Well, they got to get their. I think each game had 2-3 months to do.
Yeah,
snap, get it going, get it going.
They spent all the time on the monkey animation, maybe.
Yeah.
I'm halfway through it. What I want to do didn't work, so finish out what I can, and just it is what it is.
Slap an exclamation
Never
point.
think about it
and go
again.
out the door.
Yeah.
Monkey shines! What's next?
9433, Keyboard Creations. This will be a quick one.
So anybody who ever had cable, I hate fucking stop again. Anybody who had cable back in the 80s, you'd have like that information channel, and it would be in like, computer graphics, really, really crude computer graphics, like community service messages and when city council's meeting and what's for lunch at school, but it'd be that super blocky.
This is that.
You can make these messages with this cartridge, and it's really nice, cool, smoothing,
Smooth animation.
Smooth animation. So I think that we might actually put this to use for our YouTube channel. Just saying.
Yeah, and one of the uses for it was to make a title for your vacation VHS.
Yes.
So great.
Yeah, so you could put this on your VHS and yeah, that I'm if you have a keyboard and you can do cool things with the computer that nobody has a computer yet, then kind of nifty. We don't need to watch more monkey shines.
Yeah, fast forward.
Please make it stop.
Why are we still watching the monkeys?
Monkeys.
Shines.
All right, is this our computer creation? There it is. Hello world.
Oh no, this is when you had the tabs wrong because we can't figure them out.
So
no, I'm sorry. You were doing all the tabs. So
we don't need to see.
props to you.
Select game. Hello world. Select game. Blah, 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 blah.
This is the Hello World
Right.
program that all it does is say Hello World
Yeah,
and a box.
we had to.
The box was really hard to draw.
We had to read the instructions. I like the select game graphics. That's nice and colorful. There you go. Now
so
you're
now-
playing with podcast, and then you hit the button, and then we're trying it again.
Do it again.
You only have 100 characters now. Oh, for 14 minutes. Now you're playing with podcast.
Yeah, if you do 14 minutes, it goes infinitely.
Oh, that's right. It's the infinite, Liz. So there we go. What's next?
All right. Next one we have is 9435, Casey Munchkin.
Ah, the Pac-Man.
The Pac-Man ripoff.
Pac-Man lawsuit.
This is the first time I'd heard of something. Or at least I know
obviously not Pac-Man. There are a lot of variations from Pac-Man on this game, but it was good. And Atari took notice, and they sued because they had the license to Pac-Man, and they won. Now, why didn't they go after Mattel and Lock and Chase, or 20th Century Fox and Alien, or what are the other Pac-Man clones?
Devil World.
Devil
later,
World was a little later in Japan, but there were lots of Pac-Man games back then.
Would you consider Mousetrap?
Mousetrap, thank you.
Ladybug?
Did you say Ladybug?
Ladybug?
Yeah. Yeah, and this is probably as far away from Pac-Man. Well, maybe not, but
I mean, you get one life. The dots are moving.
there's only
They're floating
9 of
around the
them.
maze. And the maze changes too. It randomly changes, and
Well, I think actually I can see the problem right now. You look too much like Pac-Man.
you
Yeah.
chomp
That's
up,
it.
and
He looks exactly like Pac-Man with little antennae on the top of his head.
and you do have the one tunnel to get away from, and the ghosts flash or the monsters flash
Yeah.
as they're going back to their base.
It
Yeah,
plays the
there's-
same way. You get the power pellet.
There's
But
some
this is
similarities.
another hardcore game with only one life.
And the fact that the pellets move that's kind of a really big deal. It made this game really hard to play.
Yeah. But very good game. I think I like the sequel a little bit more, and that sequel was forced because of the lawsuit. But both are excellent games, and if you have an Odyssey 2, I think they're must-haves.
Got all 3.
We got all 3, and here we're trying to finish the first stage. I don't know who's playing. We got 49 points now.
Well, here's a good thing about the high score name. We find out who's playing.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
And you got the keyboard is the key to this greater challenge, so you can figure out who actually has. These monsters are still flashing the whole time. I don't.
Oh, because they kind of
can't-
randomly, they don't go back to their home immediately. They just kind of wander around. Perhaps they get harder. I don't know. But it's not like Pac-Man where they fly right back to the
base.
base every time. Yeah.
Oh, okay. 65 points. Who had that? All right, let's play some fast forward here. But yeah, a thumbs up on Casey Munchkin. Despite being pulled from the shelves, it is a very common game. Not the most common game, but it's not hard to find.
And despite being pulled from the shelves, it doesn't feel that much like Pac-Man.
No. I mean, it feels different enough, but, they were still feeling out the copyright law back in the early 80s with video games.
Can you imagine what, that kind of copyright law for this to be considered like Pac-Man, what that would be like if it were still like this nowadays? Imagine all of the first-person shooters,
yeah.
Like all the Call of Duty and Battlefield and Halo.
Game with a
else,
gun in front of your perspective,
Well, I mean, it was maze games, and then it was platformers with Super Mario Brothers, and it was fighting games with Street Fighter 2, and then it was first-person shooters, which it still is first-person shooters, and then mixed in a little bit of Wii Sports there, and following, making your clone of the trend is not something unique to the 1980s.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's not, but the fact that they won the lawsuit from something that doesn't feel like it's close enough to, like if the law, carried this same
weight.
Yeah, today, it's there'd be tons of games that would be sued for being, just remotely similar.
Shut up, don't give any ideas.
All right, what's the next one? Freedom Fighters 9436.
Okay, this is the Defender clone.
This one is very strange because the second player controls the scrolling of the background.
Oh, really?
Yes, and the player with the ship just moves left and right and shoots. You can actually not go off the side.
That's right. You can't scroll by yourself. The second player can scroll.
So it's fun. It's a co-op game, basically.
It's odd. But again, another one death game.
This is kind of the first game on the system with a scrolling.
The controls
screen,
are good.
I think.
Yeah, there's the scrolling part.
Maybe the ski game.
Yeah,
had it. Yeah,
and the controls seem to be good, and it's lots of enemies on the screen, and the explosions are satisfying.
Let's see what happens when you die, though. Oh.
And you turn green so that you're being scrolled. So that's nice.
Oh.
Although Tatton probably can't see that.
I can tell the blue and the green when those two change.
Oh, okay.
Explosion's not as good as UFO. Yeah.
No, I think UFO probably is one of the best explosions.
Mm-hmm.
So
if not the best explosion.
That might be an interesting team game for a Hexadecathlon.
Hmm.
Maybe an average of 2 scores, and each player gets to play the ship and then be the scrolling guy.
Next
so there's your Defender clone. What's next?
9437 Pickaxe Pete.
The Donkey Kong clone. Although this is the least like its
harder.
original
It's harder than Donkey Kong
than any of these other games. This is. I mean, I think it's the pickaxe itself is a sort of like Mario's hammer, and you have ladders and you go up and down. But your goal is not to get to the top. Your goal is to get a key and then go into a door, and it is pretty brutal because your pickaxe goes away after about 20 seconds, and the jumping mechanics is pretty floaty.
And there's plenty of enemies on here.
Yes, it gets very full of enemies very quick.
And it's another one death kill.
Murder, death, kill.
This is the game I called the Brad Michael game because he likes Meyer 2049er and Jumpman. And this just reminds me of that. It's hard. It's got a little stick figure guy.
But I love the name Pickaxe Pete. And
yeah.
Oh, there's the key at the top.
He's like the mascot. Well, Casey Munchkin and then this guy, Pickaxe Pete, are the mascots of the show game. Sorry, the system.
Not the Wizard of Odyssey. He was the commercial guy.
Commercial guy. Mm-hmm.
But your key appears at the top of the screen and it goes away really quick.
Mm-hmm. You're just kind of avoiding things until you can get to the key. Yeah.
1 point again. And somebody beat didn't I beat a level?
I don't know.
There it is. The most amazing graphical effect ever.
This is one of those ones where they just took the regular player sprite, just blew it up to like 4 times its normal size.
I'm still not quite sure on this one. I think it's impressive that it's unique, a C game, but it's too frustrating.
Yes, it's very tough. Let's see here. We'll go and scan to the next one here. What do we got next?
Sid the Spellbinder. Are we doing that one?
Yeah.
We played that a little bit today.
It's a kid's game. It uses the voice module. Unlike the other kids' games, this one actually had an action aspect. So it's centipede at first. So there's like one little centipede guy going across the screen. You have to shoot all the segments. You shoot all the segments. and then you get to spell a series of words.
It asks you the words, and it's kind of hard to understand some of them.
Because it's in that speak and spell, like...
Yeah, and you have to spell 3 words.
Spell the word fine. Yeah.
Yes. But I don't know if you can die on that level, because I misspelled one, but it asked
keep
me
going
another
until you
one,
get it
so
right.
it doesn't matter.
But if you don't have the voice module, then you wouldn't be able to play it. You could just play...
Wow.
You can beat one centipede and be done.
I didn't think about that. You literally could not play the game. Should we talk about the voice at all? It's a big add-on.
Actually, before we switch over real quick though, the centipede that was on it, I was just kind of like watching as I was getting the mics and stuff set up.
Yeah.
Is that the first time we see the centipede from Casey's Crazy Chase?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. It does look the same.
Gotcha.
But it's not bad. I mean, it's better than some of these other kids' games that are coming up. But the voice module plugs into the top of your system, and it matches the aesthetics of it. But unlike the IntelliVoice for the Intellivision, the sound comes out of the unit itself and not the TV. So the sound we can't capture the sound on our DVD, unfortunately. We if we were really hardcore, we could set up a microphone system and mix it into the DVD and all that happy bullshit. But we were a little lazy for this podcast. But the sound quality, because it's directly out of the machine and it's actually quite good. There are some weird ass sounds that can come out of that thing. In one particular game, there's music. Another game, there are like really authentic sounds, like sound samples. And then there's computerized voices that a lot of them are the same for a lot of these games. But, this one's, there's the type and tell game later on that you actually can say whatever you type into it. Really cool add-on, honestly. I think it's probably the best sound because it was utilized the most. And Intellivision only had 5 games for theirs.
I like that it draws power from the system too. You don't have to plug it in.
There's no extra drawing.
Plop it on.
Yeah.
And don't you use that for our outro?
I do. But now you're playing with podcast guy. That's the voice, the Odyssey voice.
So for me, that was hard to track down. I had an eBay search out for like 6 months on that, just for it itself. You can find them with the system,
right? Pretty
commonly, but just a voice. Nobody really wants to sell just a voice. Chris got one for $2.99 once.
Yeah.
I think that's the one that I've got because it's covered in like $2.99
stickers that you don't take off because you're that guy.
I am that guy.
But if you have an Odyssey 2, definitely get a voice.
Okay, next
9439 Nimble Numbers Ned.
All right, this one fucking sucked.
Yeah, we
got very, very frustrated with this one.
Well, it's just a math game.
It's just a math game, but you have to like jump across this.
Well, no, you don't have to. That's like the mini game. There was like another part to it. I think that was the real game.
Okay, but we could.
Yeah, this is the real game.
There's a stupid math things again because there's another math game with the earlier stuff.
Yeah. You have to type in the numbers backwards.
Yeah.
Oh. So then there's like the mini game which you spent the most time with.
Shit, I hit stop again. But
and it just you jump over balls and you jump on your nimble numbers Ned. You're
jumping on the numbers and the controls are just awful.
Could it be any more literal?
Yeah. It was.
And we couldn't get past the number 2 anyway.
And he kept calling us a turkey. Turkey?
Really, it did that one?
Did it say turkey? I don't know.
It might have.
That's a tip. That's a standard
Smithereens
issue.
has turkey too. Insult.
Standard issue insult and the Odyssey 2 voice library. So I don't even need to watch the video of that one. I'll just put it on the YouTube channel.
Yeah. So Nimble's Ned, thumbs down.
Type and tell, which we just talked about, so we can probably just skip that one.
Yeah, 9440 type and tell. You type something in and it speaks it out.
Which that's cool. And we talked about one came with Mac, but that was 1984, so at least 3-4 years later.
This is 2-3 years before that. Yeah. And again, for a $100 console, that's kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure every kid got it and said fuck shit piss, but a lot of these it really, more than the Intellivision, surprisingly, which advertised itself as the computer that's also a console, this literally had stuff on it that was, computer-like. So I make it say now you're playing with podcast, except that because they don't have the voice module attached,
You cannot hear it.
you won't be able to hear it. So I will just fast forward.
I hope these games said on them, like, warning, you need to have the voice, not just works with voice.
Right.
That'd be really funny if you had this without the voice.
Some of the games are voice enhanced, so some of the games require that. Yeah.
Right.
So what's next?
9441 Smithereens.
Hexadecathlon.
Hexadecathlon favorite Smithereens. I love this game. You are
Hexadecathlon multiplayer favorite.
multiplayer favorite.
There's another favorite.
It's a little less exciting without the voice though. Here, there's like almost no sound effects.
It says "Do it again" and turkey.
Let's do play by play or. Pew!
Yeah, there's no sounds at all, which at least some of the games would have some sound.
Hurry!
Just to say, too bad.
Oh,
You turkey.
You did it.
Do it again.
You did it.
Okay, so yeah. Do we need to describe it much?
Yeah, it's pretty much just a catapult game. You're just firing rocks to the opposite side, trying to defeat the
tower.
There's a tower castle that you're trying to take down. But the one cool thing about this is it's not just it's not like Cuban Cannonball where it's like you have to like take account like trajectory and everything by like lining up where your cannon goes. You actually hold down in the opposite direction that you want to fire in.
No, it's
any direction.
Any direction.
Any direction.
It always throws the same way, but
it's all timing.
It
It's
sends it
proto-agri.
further if you hold it longer.
Gotcha.
It's all timing, yeah.
But it's fun.
Yeah, we love it. Multiplayer game, fantastic. If you have a voice, it's ridiculous. It's a must-have.
Yeah.
All right. 9442 Casey's Crazy Chase.
I like this. It's kind of creepy.
Yeah. And you were saying it has kind of an anti... Yeah,
there's this interview with Ed. I think that's where I read it. They were saying how there was some sort of anti-Atari... Sorry, I should get closer to the microphone. After the lawsuit, they kind of like poked fun at Atari with something. I didn't quite catch it, but when you have to eat this giant centipede, and he's got this really depressed look on his face as he's being eaten. It's kind of creepy.
And when you finally eat him, you laugh maniacally out of the voice.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh,
Incredible.
Yeah.
And he talks too, like
Tatton and I were
Casey
just disturbed.
Actually moves his mouth when he
Yeah.
says "incredible." And so you eat the trees and you eat the centipede, and I guess I should play the footage instead of.
Yeah, there's no pellet. The trees are just like bonus points, I think.
And you don't have the Pac-Man like mouth opening and closing.
You do when
motion.
you're eating something, but as you're moving, you're just spinning around in circles. I guess that's probably where the biggest contention of the lawsuit was how the Pac-Man opened and closed his mouth constantly, or has KC open his mouth constantly.
Yeah, it's...
I don't see what this has to do with Kansas City, though. What does KC stand
KC.
for?
Keith Courage.
Keith Courage. In the Alpha Zone, right?
It goes, ha, ha.
Now, and the one wild thing about this is we didn't find out until one of the later games. I don't know if it's one of the ones on the video or not, but you can actually like bifurcate the centipede in half and like eat, like the middle one, and like he'll like abandon parts of his body, which was kind of weird. It was fun, and it's another one death
game. I like this one. This might be a Hexadecathlon game too. It'll just be the Hexa Odyssey on. That wouldn't fly too well. It'd just be the same goddamn sound effects
all day.
All 16 Odysseys.
Oh my God.
That'd be really
that would be
surreal.
a first.
That'd be terrible.
Yeah. I like when we do the high score for the name for the high score, and it doesn't fill in all the question marks. The last thing is a question mark, so it's Steve,
Chris. But you could put in a plus or something on it, or Steve, or exclamation point.
This is one of the ones I would consider a must-have.
Casey's,
damn it.
Then Casey's Crazy Chase.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Both of them, but Casey's Crazy Chase is unique. So the next game.
So the game's kind of we're still getting a little some bad ones, but they kind of dipped down.
The take the money and run dip, yeah.
Although overall, I've been more impressed. I don't know. I like the games better in retrospect more.
Alien Invaders Plus was god-awful.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it was really weird how it's like they came out of the gate with really good games. Mm-hmm. The middle ones where there were just a lot of really bad ones. There were more bad ones than good ones. And then they, like, towards the end, they figure out what they're doing and, like, turn it around again.
So what do we got here?
Except for this. 9443, P.T. Barnum's Acrobats.
Shit.
This was awful. It's pretty much Circus Atari. It's a Circus Atari clone. But
again,
there's no paddle. If, you don't have a paddle, it's really awkward. The collision detection on this to determine whether it's like the person's actually landing on your teeter-totter or not is really bad. Like, I'm really good at Circus Atari. And I got my ass handed to me at this. It was awful.
And the sound effects are brutal. It's like the explosion sound when you land and go plop. It's
it really needs a paddle.
And the one awkward thing with this is in Circus Atari, you could hit the button and you could change the direction of the teeter-totter back and forth. There's no change in this one.
Mm-hmm.
And the major gameplay difference is you bounce among the balloons when you get up there. Whereas in Circus Atari, you just collect what's up there.
Yeah, I spoke too soon about the quality. Sorry.
Well, I do kind of like the flattened guy as he has just little feet and walks back up to the rope and starts again.
I found it very satisfying when the guy goes all the way to the top and slams down and you hit it perfectly. That was cool, but it's really hard to do.
And you don't get the satisfaction of beating a stage because once you complete a row, a new row,
build a new row,
pops right back up again. So it's really, part of the appeal of classic gaming is finishing miniature goals like that because that's all there is you can do. And when you play infinitely like that, it really kills any satisfaction you get. So, although this isn't as bad as Alien Invaders Plus, but
I preferred Alien Invaders Plus to this.
Really?
I think I scored like 7. Like, I could not.
Yeah, and you didn't. I don't think you scored until your last guy too.
Like, every single one was off. Tatton. It was just awful.
And this one is the first game that had its own title screen. Instead of saying select game in multicolors, it said acrobats in multicolors.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, how forward thinking.
Wow.
All right,
I feel like they could have done that a little bit earlier.
Yeah, it could have, but it was built in.
Yeah,
that does take. Are these are some of these games are getting into 8K finally too. I don't remember which ones off the top of my head, but 4K, 8K games finally.
All right, so 9444 is another one that there's no game for it. 9445, Attack of the Time Lord.
Pretty creepy. Just like the Sinistar wannabe.
Yeah.
And the Time Lord talks to you and says, "I've got you," or
yeah, he says a bunch of different sayings. This game is fun.
Yeah, okay.
I like this one.
They had good sound effects in this one too.
So it's kind of
this is a Phoenix clone.
Clone, there you go. Or
no, maybe more like Galaga.
Well, it's the ships are flying around in strange patterns, and the bombs are being dropped any randomly. So it's. And your control isn't great. It's a little kind of slippery, but that's kind of a feature, not a bug. It makes it tougher on purpose.
I like even the sound effects coming out of the system. I mean, the non-voice sound effects are really good in this one too.
This one's the first time they got away from the regular generic bleeps and bloops and explosions. Listen to this. And the tougher sounds, the tougher bombs. Hit a ship, come on. There we go.
Yeah, that's the sound of a ship being hit there. Yeah. It's intense.
Yeah.
It's atmospheric with the creepy guy. The ship seemed to be shooting like flying crosses at you too.
Yeah, thumbs up on this one. This one might be one of the more rare ones too. I don't really know my rarities except for Power Lords, which is coming up later. And look, Chris Plus has a high score because I didn't want to be Chris. What we got next?
Next
Turtles.
I like turtles.
This was really cool. This was a nice surprise.
Yeah, I think we're going to use the theme song here.
So this one had a nice animated loading or title screen.
Look, you're going into a turtle building. It's red. It says turtles on it. It says high score.
And that's the game. You're in a turtle building.
It's really kind of hard.
So the goal of this, I mean,
It's an arcade game too.
Oh yeah,
This is the only really real arcade port, first party arcade port.
you're going around a maze. It's Pac-Man-esque, and you collect your baby turtles, and you take them to a little house that appears once you collect the turtles. One thing that is pretty brutal about this game is you go to question marks to get your turtles, but one out of them is a
Six.
enemy.
Yeah.
One out of 6 is an enemy, and you have to like turn around immediately, I think, to avoid it.
Yeah, you have to be really fast about it.
And the enemies are the same speed as you, and there's 3 of them. And
Your only defense is you can shoot out mines out of your butt, or out of your rear end.
mines.
Yeah,
Turtle butt.
and so you can't. Oh, this game has lives too.
oh yeah, multiple lives.
3 lives.
What the what? I guess they had to make it authentic. But I think one of us get to the second floor in our playthrough here. This is one of the more rare games too. They started changing the style of the cartridges to actually put graphics on the thing instead of the Odyssey 2 style cartridges with just like the unicolor drawings.
Yeah, boring drawing.
Yeah, it's second floor.
There's an animation from moving to first floor to second floor. Different maze style. Yeah. What were those enemies? Were they ladybugs or something? Yeah, I think they were
some kind of
ladybugs.
bugs.
Yeah.
Turtle,
Beetles.
turtle. Overall, good game. I think it is harder to find those, so, maybe if you can't find it, maybe just play this one on the multi-cart.
Well, this is the first one too where we have an actual music theme, isn't it?
Yes. Oh, forgot about that. Yeah, because we can't
because
hear the voice right now, but
the
it
voice
had.
plays music.
Yeah,
And
it actually
it's like
sings the
electronic
theme.
singing. It's like auto-tune.
And it had it was like one measure repeated ad nauseum.
Yes.
Yeah, that was it.
I kind of liked it, though.
I don't know what
It
the
was like.
first song was.
But it was a different song at every stage.
Yeah, the second one was like the old gray mare. She ain't
What she used to be ain't what she used to be. Yeah. But no. It was like farting sounds. It's like
It was just scratchy enough. It was.
I'm yelling into the mic.
We'll
here.
have it here. We'll play it on the intro. So it's kind of good.
Okay, finally.
What's next?
Finally.
9447 Killer Bees.
I think this
Hexadecathlon
is the
favorite.
consensus favorite game on the Odyssey.
This game is on my top.
Not programmed, unfortunately, by Ed. This was by Rosha. I can't remember his name.
It's the only game he did.
Oh yeah,
On this system.
on this system. And in fact, I looked him up on I think Moby Games, where they got programmer files on a lot of people, and he actually put Easter egg in some computer game later on. It says "Buy Killer Bees." I have to look that up.
So this game's in when I was doing my top 25. This game's in it. I don't know about you guys. It's that good.
We'll have to save that for later when we talk. But
Yeah.
we talked plenty about Killer Bees and voice enhanced. But what would you say this is? Is it sort of
It's
no? I guess it wouldn't be. It's sort of
like
Centipede
nothing,
the way they move. Like it's
yeah.
they move in a set pattern.
It's really unique. I mean, I think this is a.
This takes advantage of the Odyssey too. Really does. Like the graphic wise and
The controller works really well on it.
the speed is fantastic. This is probably the fastest game we've played on the system, which a good classic game has good, nice speed.
There's lots of different ways to play, I think.
Strategies, you mean?
Yeah.
With the
Yeah,
guns,
there's
the lasers.
different methods you can use to. Yeah.
We're all kind of
We're just
Another
watching
one
it.
death
It's
count.
fun to just watch it be played.
And this is one of the games where you don't have to have the voice adapter. It doesn't.
Although that's just icing. The
Yeah, I
voice.
mean, it-
oh.
It definitely
Oh
has to.
no! George Takai says,
Oh.
oh.
And then the bee buzzing sound. Great.
But like revisit music, like by itself, like the music in this is holding its own. Some of the games where, like Smithereens, where it's dead if you don't have the voice module. Like this one,
It does.
it's
Yeah,
still
it
its
works.
own game without it.
Yeah.
And now you're playing with podcast. Put up the first gameplay video on YouTube of Killer Bees, so we get a cookie or something for that.
And it has the voice recording in it too.
But we still love Ed, even though he didn't do this game. I don't want to even though it's our favorite, we're gushing about it now. That's kind of not fair to. Again, we're not doing the best.
We're not getting the best score.
We're not doing a good job of trying to entice him to get on our show, are we? Sorry.
Oh, it's so far in the past.
But I do have to say that the one thing that makes me sad about the voice adapter is I wish Take the Money and Run had come out after the voice adapter was out. 'Cause I'd like to hear the Keynesian bots talking.
You turkey. Wow, that game was weird.
Failed investment, you turkey.
What we got next?
Bear market.
Bear. B-Bear. B-Bot.
9448 Power Lords.
This is the final game from Magnavox.
This game is pretty sweet. They got really nice animation.
You skipped the three...
I did.
You didn't mention them at least. Well, okay,
I did not.
We'll get to them.
We're doing a separate episode for those.
Well, we'll talk about it. Okay, so Power Lords. This one is the rare game. I luckily got a copy at Play It when I worked there for like $50, which is reasonable. This game goes for way more than that. The very rare times it appears on eBay. Actually, I've seen several copies on shopgoodwill.com.
They go for a lot still,
but they still go for about $100 or more. And look for this game in lots with systems. Keep your eyes peeled for what games come with the system. Because a lot of times you'll see a lot of games with systems bundled together, and sometimes you'll get lucky and get a Power Lords with it. Is it worth that much money? It's good, but not great. It's sort of Defender-ish. Come on, gameplay. Oh, this is when we were struggling with the switches on my multi-card.
We had trouble getting
I hit the 4K version instead of the 8K version, and blah blah blah. But this game is colorful. It actually looks like a.
I mean, it looks kind of like a cartoon.
Yeah, but I mean, it looks like a blue sky and a green ground and a sun in the sky and
a crazy snake.
It's got a lot of shit going on.
It's very claustrophobic, though.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of room to maneuver, and there's a lot of crap going around. There's a lot of different things to shoot that do different things, like shooting the snake who can shoot lasers back at you, or shooting that little star in the mountain to let the volcano go off.
Avoiding the volcano lava.
But another one of those single life games. I can't say that this is worth the money unless you're a collector.
I mean, just get the multi-card.
Get the multi-card to play this one.
Yeah.
The multi-card's $40.
It does make great noise, though.
Yeah, this is another good sound effect game. It's kind of like the Time Lord sound effects.
Mm-hmm.
And that snake is pretty well animated, I have to admit that. Here comes the volcano. No, maybe not.
Oh, one other thing, this has gravity that increases.
Oh, yeah, you're being sucked into the volcano. It's a gravity volcano. It's a black volcano.
It's good last game.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good swan song. I mean, it's kind of sad
that was it. Yeah.
Okay, now that we came to that part, Steve had to take off. So Tat and I will round out the iMagic titles and the Parker Brothers titles, and then we'll do a quick wrap-up with favorite game, least favorite game, and stuff. First iMagic title is Atlantis, which was basically one of their two popular games that was pretty much on every system possible at the time. Let's see, we had trouble getting this one started too, so I will fast forward on my video here. There's Atlantis. The difference between this one and the Atari 2600 classic version is you only have the two side cannons on the Odyssey 2 version, making it way tougher. The center cannon in the 2600 version, it just makes it really
There's
playable.
our TIE fighter.
Yeah, we're pretty terrible. The side cannons are very tough to aim at that severe angle that you shoot them in. But otherwise, it's functional version. It's all the same features. You know, you just the ships come at varying speeds, and you have to shoot them all before they destroy your city. That's all there is to it.
It was good. It was implemented well. I mean,
yeah,
I haven't.
The graphics are nice and varied, and the sound effects are fine.
I didn't play this a lot on the Intellivision or on the Atari.
I mean, Intellivision's one is totally different a game actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's we could go over that when we do Intellivision unit.
But I had fun playing this. I thought this was really good.
Beep. Yep. So we that's in iMagic Classic number 1. And when we get to the end here, we will do an iMagic Classic number 2, which is while everybody plays their game of.
I was gonna say I had a good run here at the end.
Yeah, you lasted a while. 30,000 points.
All right, next one is Demon Attack.
Demon Attack, which was on every goddamn system. Oh, this is that weird demo.
Looks like a weird Keystone Capers.
Let's see. Podcasting. Here we go. Demon Attack. Like the 2600 version, you deal with 2 demons at a time. Lots of variations where you can switch between 1 player and 2 player, and the rotating game, and the smart bombs, and the smart shots, and graphically, obviously blockier than the 2600 version. The shots are a little slower, so it's a little more brutal. But and it's that built-in graphic of the tree that's your ship. But very competent port of Demon Attack. If all you had today was an Odyssey 2, you would want this game. You get the splitting demons later on that split in half and dive bomb at you, and those crazy attack patterns and the bombs that are relentless.
And your ship is appropriately sized. Like,
yeah.
I wish they'd use this club icon in the tree from the Outlaw game, whatever. Like, I wish they'd use that for the Alien Invaders.
Well, yeah. How about that?
I dare to say the bullet's really big in this. Is it like that in the Atari version?
No. I think that's a built-in sprite.
Gotcha.
It's really slow, too. That's probably the biggest detriment. But, it's kind of sad that they didn't do more on the system. But this was the only official third-party games on the Odyssey 2. And I think they even kind of supported it. If I recall correctly, they had like a magazine.
Oh, wow. Really?
Like a, an actual Magnavox magazine talking about what was coming out. And they actually talked about the Magic games. The next series we got are these were not released in the United States, but they are on the multi-cart. These are Parker Brothers, and they did these same games for pretty much every system back in the day.
The first one is Frogger.
All right. Well, after I do more Demon Attack, blah 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 blah.
I hated this version of Frogger.
Oh, I think the hate gets even worse later on. But listen to the theme song.
Oh, yeah, the theme song is wonderful.
Look, the frog even winks at you.
Yeah, the animation's great in the beginning.
So,
everything else, awful.
The controls, the Odyssey 2 joystick has that throw problem, so it's really not the best system for Frogger, which needs really precise, quick movement. And the frog jumping part, it kind of has that slight delay and not the best. And they split the game screens into 2 boards instead of everything on one board. You have the road by itself on one screen. Then when you get to the middle, then you have the river part on a separate screen.
The jump is huge.
You jump really far. So jumping between cars, you're not going to do it. It's impossible.
If you do it, it's by mistake.
And then the weird thing at the top of the screen, at the river part, the frog bases are green instead of the river blue. So that's backwards. You need to know that going in, or you're going to jump in the wrong spots. But, I thought it was competent. I didn't think it was a failure. Tatton hated it, though.
I hated it. This is the worst version of Frogger I've ever played.
Yeah, I probably don't like very many other versions. I like most other versions better than this, but I thought if I had an Odyssey, I'd be happy with this. It's Frogger. It's an arcade game. I'd rather have Turtles. So everybody's getting their turn on Frogger, blah, 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 da, 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 da. And no music, of course, because it only had limited sound channels. No Odyssey, no voice support. It's a shame these didn't come out in America, though. I think I would have rather had this than not have this.
I'd rather not have it.
Ding.
I'm glad it didn't come out.
So the next
one is Popeye.
Oh, now this. Oh, that's Killer Bees. Yeah, this is fucking weird. So Popeye, the classic Nintendo arcade game. You're Popeye. Olive oil's at the top of the screen dropping hearts. You have to pick up the hearts, and once you fill up your grid, then you go on to the next stage. And Bluto is around trying to punch the shit out of you. This version, there is no grid. There is just one stage. You're just constantly picking up hearts. So like the P.T. Barnum game, you get no satisfaction of finishing a task. You're just constantly survival mode. Bluto is this gigantic, blocky green guy. It's just utterly ridiculous. Olive Oil, for an Odyssey 2 sprite, actually has a little tiny pink tails. It's a little weird, but kind of cute, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, it's at least identifiable as a girl.
Yeah. There's always a can of spinach, but because it's a constantly going game, like the board doesn't end, it's just the first board in a constant flow. There's always a spinach can available, so you pick up the spinach can, beat the shit out of Bluto, and then as soon as your spinach runs out, then the can reappears again. So kind of a little easy, actually, but this is a huge letdown.
Yeah, this is
bad. This is D material. I mean, it plays okay, at least. That's the one thing I can say about it. It doesn't have shitty controls. But as far as a port of an arcade game, F-.
Looks
F-. And it looks like he's like green pissing on you when he's like dropping stuff from the top level down. And that Bluto sprite is so awful.
Bluto is so bad.
It's so bad. But
it's not a good
the
version
2600
of Popeye.
version of Popeye is way more accurate than this. There's Popeye getting his spinach, which that sounds nice. Of course, it's already over, but I'm still red. Go down. Yo, we've been to the water. And this is an interesting mechanic where if the parts fall into the water at the bottom, you actually have to reach over to pick them up, which was not in the arcade game.
Oh, that wasn't in the arcade game?
It wasn't in the NES version, at least. But yeah, there he goes again. So this is just... I would not be happy with this at all. That gigantic Bluto sprite. That's embarrassing. Why did we play this for so long, guy?
I appreciate what they were trying to do, and it just didn't turn out right. It wasn't fun.
No, no. It was too far from the arcade. Next one, Qbert. Qbert was on every system. And frankly, this one's a little... You know how the Atari 2600 version, they tried to make it that isometric look?
Mm-hmm.
And it just looked really bad.
Yeah, it was weird.
Really, really, really creaky angles, and your Qbert was see-through. And this version, they don't try it. They just make a pyramid of squares, like just individual squares, and you just diagonally jump between the squares. So there's no pseudo 3D look to it. It doesn't look 3D whatsoever. It's a 2D version of Qbert, but frankly, it plays better or looks better.
Yeah, it definitely looks a lot better. Gameplay wise, it seems like all the home versions of Qbert kind of had control flaws. So
I like Qbert, and I like this version quite for the system it's on. I think it does a pretty good job, and it even has a little level intro things, which was no music, of course. But I mean, Qbert's nice, smoothly animated, and it's a pretty quick game. It's pretty fast. Because they didn't try that 3D BS, it turned out pretty well. This is probably the best of the 5 Parker Brothers games, I think.
Yeah, no,
yeah, pretty easily actually. Now that I'm thinking about the other ones, Frogger and this one are the only ones that are really good at all in my book, and the other 3
Frogger wasn't good.
Yeah, see.
This was definitely my favorite.
Yeah, and it even has a second level where you have to change them twice, and
no colorblind mode. I had to have Chris and Steve tell me where to jump, which was really awkward.
But there's coily, and it's a little weird to jump on the flying discs because you have to jump from below them because of the 2D perspective instead of sideways like in the typical isometric 3D view. But good game overall. Like I said, the best Parker Brothers game. So fast forward here, and we'll go to the next one, which I believe is Oh, 180. Oh, that's right. This is your game. We got to level 2, so this lasts a while. You were directing traffic to the Qbert's kind of cool to watch in 10 times fast mode. So the next game is Super Cobra.
Best arcade font ever.
Oh God, this should not have been done on the Odyssey 2.
This was really bad.
This is atrocious. Instead of scrolling, you go from screen to screen. So you move to the far right of the screen. You hear that bleep 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 sound. That means that the screen scrolls, but you're frozen while it's scrolling. And to drop a bomb, you have to hold in the fire button. So it's really impractical to differentiate between shots and firing. And you have a limited number of bombs. I don't know if it's just per stage. And then you have a limited, instead of having a number of men, you have a limited number of hits you can absorb.
Mm-hmm.
But in this particular case, when you got to the far right of the screen and then it scrolled over while you were frozen, you were right in front of a cliff.
Yeah, there's a wall
there's a wall right in front of you. So
and there's no way to move down. Well, you move down quick enough.
Yeah,
but then you crash to the top of it.
I do think that there was like a good dramatic explosion at the end of here. Let's see if that's the case. I'll fast forward this a bit. Helicopter effect is kind of nice, I guess.
No, I mean, they did.
All right.
Oh,
there it was. You split in half, and then each half exploded separately.
It's better than Frogger.
I disagree. This should not have been done on this system. It's just bad.
Yeah, it is bad. It's really bad.
I don't remember the Atari version. Did it also have this scrolling bullshit, or did it actually smoothly scroll?
I don't know that I played the Atari version. I don't know if I've got it.
Really?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I think I do. But it's interesting that you did Super Cobra and not Scramble. Scramble's my favorite of those games.
Yeah, Scramble is really good. All right.
Final game.
Tutankhamun.
Did not have the instruction book on this. And I kind of forgot how to play it. This is also on the 2600, and it's kind of like a maze game, not an arcade game. This is a console original from Parker Brothers. But you can, you're running around in a maze, and you're picking up treasures, and you can shoot bad guys, and looks well enough done. Since I didn't have the instruction booklet to figure out what all the different treasures do, we didn't really figure out what we were doing. But I can't say the title screen was kind of impressive. Your little pyramid that you have a camel walk up to and drop your guy off.
Yeah, this was fun. I mean, the only weird thing about this is and I don't know again from the other versions to this version if this is normal, like if it's the gameplay or if it's just unique to this one. But you're slower moving up and down than you are moving left and right, and that was a huge weird gameplay element.
Yeah, when you're in an open space like that, it doesn't make much sense. But I haven't played much of the 2600 version to give an accurate description of how well that game plays versus this version. And I think there even was an Intellivision version of that game too. Probably super rare because I don't have it. Well, you might have noticed if you're an aficionado that we skipped over 3 games, and that would be the challenge. Or no, what's it?
The challenge series, like the board games.
Yes, I don't think it's good. Well, the 3 board games. Quest for the Rings, the Great Wall Street Fortune Hunt, and Conquest of the World. We played a game of Quest for the Rings the other night, and we recorded it, and we're going to probably release this footage on YouTube if we can edit it together, because it was kind of elaborate.
It is wonderful.
Good. I wouldn't jump that far. I'd say it was good.
Wonderful.
It's kind of a basic tabletop RPG, not super elaborate, but instead of rolling dice, you basically play a video game. You either try to escape from a dungeon or you try to collect a ring in a dungeon. And then there's 4 character classes. And like really old school RPGs and fantasy, the dragons are invincible.
Mm-hmm.
Or, you know...
Yeah, dragons are actually scary.
The dragons are fucking scary. They're not just big, oversized monsters that you can take down with a few crucial hits with a strong sword. They're invincibles, and you can knock back their fireballs, but those things are fucking fast and you're slow. But a very, very fun game. And we'll talk about it on the video YouTube channel one of these days. It'll probably take me a year to edit this motherfucker. We've yet to play Wall Street. We've yet to play the Conquest of the World, which is like super future tank risk.
Laser tank risk.
But those are probably the most notable original games on the Odyssey, how they mixed board game components with the video game portion of it. And, well, I think that the Quest for the Rings, if you got really good at it, it probably lose some of its appeal. It's definitely worth a playthrough or two if you ever find a copy of it. They're not that expensive. I've seen Quest for the Rings for $10.
Yeah, it's not too bad.
If you get all the pieces with it, it's worth it, I think.
I thought it was a blast. I mean, it's hands down one of my favorites.
It was a good night because we had a bunch of friends over that we hadn't seen in a while, and the 6 of us played it.
That's the only downside to it is you're going to need a group to play this.
Right, but again, this is another. There's no footage of anybody playing this on the internet ever. So I want to get that video up there just to show that it has been played. We kind of bent the rules a bit by changing classes and stuff, but I think that was a good way to show the gameplay. And there's even a dungeon master component to it, and it's a blatant ripoff of Lord of the Rings, but who gives a fuck? And we'll fancy up this video that we shot and see how it turns out on our YouTube channel, which we now have. So Steve wanted to say that his favorite game was Killer Bees. His least favorite game was
Monkey Shines.
He also hated Thunderball. He also didn't like Alien Invaders Plus. What was his other favorite? Was it Pachinko? Yeah, that was surprisingly fun. And I think I pretty much agree with those lines. I also kind of liked the pack-in game, like that. For a silly little pack-in game, that it was surprisingly competitive and good. The controlled well, which is all you can ask for with a really simple game. Casey Munchkin games were very good. The UFO was pretty good. I like Pickaxe Pete. It's a little wonky, a little tough, but I think with some practice you can get really good at that.
I think the Casey's Crazy Chase is my second favorite.
Chase?
Yeah, behind Killer Bees. I love Killer Bees.
Smithereens obviously is one of my favorites. Weirded out by Take the Money and Run. That headbanging sprite.
Bizarre.
And again, Ed, if you're ever listening to this, we love your work. We'd love to talk to you about, doing all this by yourself, game after game after game with no support from your parent company. But I'm sure you also had a lot of freedom in that too. So I don't want to put words in your mouth. I'd love to hear what you have to say about this stuff. So come on the show if you listen to this.
Yeah, it'd be great to have you on, and even if not having you on here, like at least one of the big shows or something like that to get you out and talk at one of those.
Yeah, and I haven't played a lot of homebrews. In fact, somebody just made a porn game recently for the Odyssey 2.